Mic check, mic check. All right. Excellent. Let me get this show ready. Close down Premiere Pro. Save and go. Yes. All right. Excellent. Okay. Let me switch. Let me first upload the videos. Hello, everyone. This is Rap Raven of the Black Betterment Broadcast. Just going to open up my stuff. Running a bit hectic late as not normal. There we go. 48. Let's open. Is this one first? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Sad story there. One more to open. Hold on. 40 seconds, family. Just going to get the stuff ready. Excellent. We're good. All right. Now I just need to find the actual PDF. Can we stress about PDF? Where is it? Entire screen window. There we go. Look at that magic. Fantastic. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 130th show of the Black Betterment Broadcast. I'm your host, Rap Raven. Please tell a friend to come live. The show is recorded, and you can listen to it any time in the future, unless they get rid of it, as they sometimes do. Who are they? But it's always good when we get live people jump in, give their opinions, all that spontaneity and that good stuff. There you go. So we're going to open the show how we always do. So the three starting statements, that's very important, and that is, when it comes to working as a collective with only Black people on matters that benefit Black issues, Black progression, and Black ownership, Black people are collectively inadequate. Yes, very sad, very sad. Individually, you might find a non-Black person who shows some kind of camaraderie towards Black people. However, collectively, Black people have no friends, and constructive Black man and constructive Black woman make a constructive Black family. Three starting statements, if you're the first time here, they sound so odd and so weird, and what is that even about? As you start following the format, you start seeing some of the interactions and some of the data, you realize, oh, I see why you start like that. Very interesting. Oh, yeah, very cool. Now, we're going to invite people to come on, and when we do, we want to practice the 4D values, don't we? That's what we want to do. And what are they? Discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Very good. Can we not use derogatory language? Sometimes we forget. Some people don't hear the beginning show, and they jump on and they might be from environments where, they swear at children, grandmas, this kind of stuff, and this is normal. However, here, we don't want to do that. We want to have a constructive language, a descriptive language, if we possibly can, because we're trying to find solutions. That's what we're trying to do. So you might be asking at home, what is Black Betterment? That's what you're asking. Yes, it is. Well, I should tell you. Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. There you go. There you go. And it's a lifestyle. So we promote the lifestyle of Black Betterment. So in a nutshell, the idea is there's many challenges Black people go through, but if we have a lifestyle that baked in it is our own solution mechanism, then this will heighten the chances of success when it comes to trying to find solutions for shortcomings. Oh, yeah. We're going to be showing our videos. So disclaimer, it's not us, but we're just using it for case study purposes. Also, please don't forget to follow the Black Betterment Instagram. I always say it. We haven't posted anything yet, but we should be soon. So I keep saying. So please follow that. And then we're going to start doing some economics and Black love campaigns through there as well. Fantastic. Good. Yes. Oh, wow. Good. What else is there? Okay. Now we're going to start our show. So basically, this is the third week now we had this topic. Very good topic. And we're going to expand it. And I think it might be one of our kind of niches. I've noticed that we don't really tackle that kind of the Black man, Black woman dynamic, but we're tackling it more so from the shortcomings and inadequacies of Black men. And the reason is because we're trying to build our men in the community to be leaders, providers, protectors, and all the other good P's. Excellent. But there's been some shortcomings. So we started by asking the question last week, and that question was, Black women. Oh, we asked, do you feel protected and provided? And last week, it was pretty much, there was no yes at all, not one. I'm sure there's pockets around the world where you'll find much more, maybe even the majority. However, by last week's show, there was no yes. Not really surprised or shocking for many. So this week we say Black women collectively don't feel valued or protected by Black men. We invite Black men to help fix this. Now, obviously, we don't really, we need to promote the show better and do, all other campaigns and stuff. So it's a step-by-step process. But news will spread that, oh, look, there's this Black Betterment Broadcasting show. And they're saying these things about Black men. We should go in and see what it's about. I'm a Black man. What's going on here? Then they'll come in and maybe they want to find solutions. They won't understand or they'll get triggered. Either way, a conversation is started. And that's good. Yes, sir, that's good. Because we want to start a conversation. Because I think when it comes to relationships and family and and then ultimately economics and ownership. I feel these are the things that we don't talk about as a community. But when you analyze other communities who are more adequate than us, these are the things that they primarily have on lock. So yeah, that's something we're gonna tackle, you know. And next one, which is funny enough, is actually connected to the main theme, and that is, did Brian Mcknight replace his black family for non-black one? So for those who don't know, Brian Mcknight is a very famous, I want to say R&B singer, very talented producer, songwriter, composer, this kind of stuff. And he's famous for writing love songs throughout the, I want to say 80s and 90s. Let me say 90s and 2000s. My memory's not too good. Shame on me. But what's happened is, as a few years back, he was in some disagreements with his kids, and I think he felt, you know, that they weren't really pulling their weight. And mysteriously now, if you go on his Instagram, he doesn't really promote them at all, if at all, or mention. And he's actually has a new family. But we're going to listen to a woman a lady's show who we've downloaded just for case study purposes, because she articulates very well, and we should listen to her, give her credit in there as well. And then last but by no means least, how many generations does it take to transfer wealth from the black community to other communities after interracial marriage? So that's something people think we're obsessed there, but because we talk about black economics, black ownership, and black love, and how they're connected, and we always say, you know, black men and black women should marry who they want, but just know how marriage works historically, and how marriage is a very good thing for wealth transferring, community building, optical branding, producing black people, this kind of stuff. So we just want to make sure black people know that, because, you know, maybe they see if they, because that might be the next question in the future. Do black people value or care having a black family or black wealth? Probably not. You know, all human, that kind of stuff, right? So we ask those questions. I wanted to do a very good case study that I'm putting together. Never had no time this week, but I wanted to do one about a very famous singer. He was in the Commodores. Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie. As you know, Lionel Richie wrote the song with Michael Jackson, We Are the World. We've done a case study on Michael Jackson, the whole black and white and wife scenario, and, you know, how he felt about himself, and we contacted within white supremacy and this kind of thing. We're going to do the same thing for brother Lionel Richie, but we're going to look at it more from economics and choices. But I didn't get time to actually do the actual presentation, so who knows? Maybe while we listen to the video, I might do it. Who knows? I don't know. So let's see. So let's go to the second topic. Did Brian Mcknight replace his family with a non-black one? While I do that, I'm going to find a link. Give me 17 seconds. This PC is taking too long, so I can't keep breathing like that and singing. So let me just give me 14 more seconds. There we go. The link should. Oh no, the link's actually in the actual thing, isn't it? Easy peasy. There you go. Easy peasy, lime squeezy. So I'm going to put that in there like that. And if you want to jump in, just jump in now and just, you know, have your say. This particular section, we're looking at the Brian Mcknight scenario. Let me open up the thing and put that as a. I think you can stick it to the top. Some people complain that they can't see the link and they want to jump in. So we're going to make sure they see it at the top. And also, please remember, if you jump in, we practice 4D values here. So there'll be no geography terms insulting each other. Sometimes it's hard, I understand that. But we try to have a theme or a consistency on the show. My machine's going very slow indeed. I should have a shortcut just to make things easier. Come on, Granddad. Yeah, black, betterment, please. Give me 17 seconds just to pin there we go. Click on that one. There should be a quicker. I have to jump into different browsers just to do this. And, you know, for someone who makes apps, I should know better. But I don't. What are you going to do about it? All right. Yeah, taking its time. Slow machine. There you go. There we go. Pin. 4, 5. Pin. There you go. Fantastic. So jump along if you want. Now we're going to listen to the video. Here we go. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Hey, so today I want to discuss. Welcome back to my channel, Mother Suckers. Hey, so today
her channel is not called Mother Suckers. I can't read it because it's so small my screen, but hopefully I can see it looks like straight something. Straight from the. I can't see that lot. It's so small my screen I can't see it. But if you see it, shout out. That's right.
I want to discuss Brian Mcknight and his deadbeat ways. Brian Mcknight said, "I'm starting back at one, a whole new family." So Brian Mcknight recently posted his stepdaughter with the caption that says, "Jules, I became a girl dad because of you, and I couldn't have asked for a better daughter. Visiting you on campus and seeing how happy you are living in this beach house with all your friends for your senior year reminded us both of how proud we are of the woman you have become and the incredible student you continue to be. Here's to you, Jules, the perfect daughter I always wanted. And in December of last year, he posted, "Today we celebrate you, Jules, on your birthday. Your mom and I couldn't be prouder of you, and I couldn't ask for a better daughter than you. Happy birthday to the best daughter ever. Love you a zillion." Boy, bye. Brian Mcknight saying that Jules is the perfect daughter and that he became a girl dad because of her is very odd because he has a biological daughter. Brian Mcknight has 2 sons and a daughter from previous marriages or previous entanglements. But if you take a look at his Instagram today, it's as if he doesn't have any kids other than his stepkids from his recent wife, Leilani. Y'all, even his Instagram bio says husband of Leilani, father of Julia, Jack, Kekoa, Mateo, and Brian Kaiona Makoa. Who are these people? Where the McKnight?
So if you don't know what's going on our show, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Brother Dominic. Yeah, if you know what's going on, there's a singer, Brian Mcknight, and basically he was married to a black woman. Well done, 10 points for that. But sadly it didn't work out for some reason. And he had 3 children, either 2 with her and maybe 1 with someone else. I can't remember, but either way, he had children. And what happens, they got into disagreements, him and the family, and now he's married to a Filipino lady. But she came with 2 kids, but him being a man decided to adopt the 2 kids, and he seems best pleased. But when it comes to actually naming his family, he seems to only name the Filipino family. And for some reason, I think they still got their own names. I don't think he seems to use the McKnight name, but who knows? We'll see what's going on.
McKnights. Where are the original McKnights? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with blended families and treating your stepchildren as if they're your own. In fact, I encourage that, but not at the expense of your biological children. They're not a replacement. They're an addition, okay? You don't see him posting any of his children or his grandchildren. You don't see him celebrating them, wishing them happy birthdays, attending baby showers, nothing. It's as if they don't even exist. Now, if you don't know, back in 2019, Brian Mcknight posted his stepson on his Instagram congratulating him for working a job at McDonald's and helping his parents buy him a new car. He said, "Here's my son Jack with his new Challenger. I'm so proud of you, my boy. No one deserves this more than you. No one asked you to go and you got a job at McDonald's to help pay for it, and we didn't even ask you to do that either. You took your hard-earned money and said, 'Here, I want to help you pay for it, BKM.' And I cried because I know that you don't take things for granted. You love and respect me as your father, not just because I'm married to your mother, and I love you as my son, period. Enjoy, but take it easy. It's a V8. Brianized, proud dad. I love our life. All American muscle." His oldest son, Brian Mcknight Jr., came out to say that Brian Mcknight had abandoned him and his bio siblings. He came out again in 2021 and said, "When it comes to my father, the proof is in the pudding. If there are still people out there wasting their breath, putting us down for speaking our truth, challenge them to question how they think they know our father better than us. LOL, you know his body of work. We came from his actual nuts." Wow. Brian Mcknight came back out to say that he never abandoned them and that he's estranged from them because of their behaviors. He says that they don't want to grow up. He tried to teach them how to be a man, to be independent, but they don't want to grow up. They just want to continue to rely on his money and his fame. He then made claims that his daughter had possibly been sexual with one of her older cousins. Mind you, she was a minor at the time. So basically, his reasoning for abandoning Brianna is because she was sexually assaulted by a family member. Brian. After that statement, Brianna did file a defamation lawsuit against her father. I'm going to read some of the document here. It states the defendant's assertion that he received information that Brianna, when a minor, had sex with an adult cousin was a false assertion of a probable fact and implies the existence of undisclosed knowledge or factual information supporting the statement that Brianna was having sex with an adult cousin when she was a minor. A reasonable person listening to the defendant's defamatory statement concerning Brianna could conclude that the published statements assert factual matters. In fact, Brianna had never engaged in any sexual contact of any kind with any relative of any age while a minor or otherwise. Plaintiff is informed and believes, and based upon such information, alleges that no one ever told the defendant that she had sex with a cousin or words to that effect. If something to that effect was stated, the defendant seized upon an obviously untrustworthy rumor, failed to...
Hello, family. Tell a friend, we're live. We're covering the ultimate story of Black women not feeling valued or protected, and what are Black men going to do about it. I'll post a link for people to jump in. We're also looking at the case study, I guess it is connected, of Brian Mcknight, I guess, abandoning his Black family and adopting a Filipino family. But listen to this lady gives her breakdown. Meanwhile, I'm also doing my case study. Give me 17 seconds to do this up. I've got some pictures of Lionel Richie. It's not as neat as it should be, but what are you going to do? Time's against us.
Look into its truthfulness, disregarded the probable falsity of any such rumor, and recklessly and maliciously repeated it to a large audience of his followers, knowing that the repetition will cause harm to Brianna. And I'm gonna jump down to C. If the defendant had heard some rumor to the effect that Brianna, when a minor, was having sex with an adult cousin or words to that effect, the defendant failed to investigate or failed to use reasonable care in investigating the truth of the rumor before publishing it to a large audience of his fans. This is just disgusting and sad. You're better off having a dead daddy or no daddy than Brian Mcknight. Oh, I just can't even imagine the mental turmoil that this girl is experiencing because of what her father has done. He basically put out this rumor about his own child, did nothing to investigate, and just said, well, that's the reason why I'm distancing myself from her. It literally makes no sense. There was no congratulations on her graduation. There was no congratulations when she excels in life. It's like she's catching strays for simply being born or simply being alive when she didn't ask to be here. He also said that her mother is the gold digger and, you know, she just had the baby for money. Well, you had unprotected sex with a quote unquote gold digger. So now you have to raise that child and love that child. Like, sorry, not sorry. That's not an excuse. And to make things even worse, him and his new wife have a new baby on the way, and he named the new baby Brian Mcknight Jr. His first biological son name is Brian Mcknight Jr. This is giving horror movie vibes. You're trying to replace your Black family with a non-Black family. It's like Get Out with a twist. Listen, Brian said, my new family need to pass the paper bag test. Now, let me just say this for real. I don't care how you try to justify it. There's really no reason other than your child is a murderer, your child is a abuser in some way, but there's really no...
All right, everyone. Where are we? She's almost done. But for those that's not your feel on this, do you feel that Brian Mcknight has abandoned his family? Can you imagine a scenario where this is acceptable? Is it problematic at all? Do you know people do this? Is there something that you would do where, you know, too far is too far and you go? They're not Latino, they're Filipino. That's kind of rhyming. She's a Filipino. I don't know who she was married to before. Maybe it was white Filipino or Latino children. Father, that was the old father. I'm not too. I haven't really researched that one, but he's adopted them. And I think they mentioned at the start he's very fond of them. He buys them a lot of gifts and this kind of stuff. Funny enough, I've just done the Lionel Richie stuff, so I'll be able to show that, which is good.
No reason other than that to disown your own children. As a father, as a parent, yes, it is your job to prepare your children to grow up and be independent one day, meaning they should not live their lives depending solely on your money. I completely get that. And the fact that he said they tried to offer them jobs, but they didn't want to stop smoking weed. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that is true, that is a problem. And I think at that point, yes, you can say, you know what? I'm trying my best to help you guys stand on your 2 feet. You have to meet me halfway, but that's not a reason to disown your children. Stop giving them allowances and finances, yes, but completely disown.
Welcome, Lady Divine, to the show.
Evening. Good night, Brother Raven. Big up everybody.
Good. Well, let us know if anything you want to say. Just let us know. But we're just gonna keep playing the video for now.
Own them and act like they never existed? Hell no. Especially if you're out here giving your stepchildren lavish gifts. Every time I see a new photo, he's giving his stepdaughter or his stepson some type of lavish gift. And
Rap Raven, when the vids are not playing, can you turn the mic up on your mic? It's very low. Is it low now? Is it low now? Let me know if it's low now. Or do you mean when it's playing, I should talk louder? Let me get close up. I've actually got a very expensive mic, but I don't use it. Let me know if you can hear that. Hopefully that's good enough. Hey.
He's saying how proud he is of them. From what I see in the captions, he's saying that his stepkids actually work hard for the gifts that he gives them. But from what I saw, his sons actually are in the studios making music, and Brianna's in college winning volleyball trophies. So make it make sense. Like, how happy can you really be with these new kids if you constantly have to say,
let us know your thoughts and what's going on. Also, let us know if you can hear me.
well, you're the one that I wanted. It's like, do you really love these kids, or do you love the fact that they mama ain't black? Do you really love these kids, or do you love the fact that their mama didn't put you on child support? Let's talk about it, okay? The manosphere is always talking about bitter baby mamas. Well, we got a bitter baby daddy right here. He's mad because he had to pay child support. He's mad because the children needed his support. Even as a sometimes adults need our parents' support. I think we need to let go of this idea that at a certain age, your children should never need you financially, emotionally. You know, you're just.
I'm just going to check the volume on my meter. Mic check one, Macintosh. It's that number. Yeah, it's going right to almost the edge. So, mic check. Yeah, it looks quite decent, but who knows? There you go.
This all-knowing.
We'll stop it there. You know, it does get better than that. Okay, so let's go back to the topic at hand. So for those who are joining, we were looking at let me get the new one up. Hold on. So many things up. Hold on. Where is it? It's here and everywhere, and it's there it is. Okay, it didn't open. Why didn't it open? Because it's not loaded. Close it then. Let's try it now. Oh, fantastic. Look at that. Good. Yeah, so today's topics, let's go for it. Start again. Last week, for those who don't know, now you know, we asked black women, do they feel valued and protected? And at least within the context of this show, we never got one yes, we got plenty of no's. And this was protected by black men, sorry. So this week, we continue as we said we always do. And the question is, black women collectively don't feel valued or protected by black men. We invite black men to help fix this. So the idea at some point is to have black men come and talk about this. If we have enough black men, this can be quite daunting. Something we realized, at least last week, was maybe black men, we don't really know how to protect. And this was a thing that was brought up. And then we did have a list of things to write down from black women of ways to make them feel protected, you see. And we just watched Brian Mcknight's case study there about potentially replacing his black family with Filipino /
say exotic. Just say exotic. Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of new age family, and obviously treating them very kindly and giving them gifts and only mentioning them but not mentioning his black family. They say he's very disappointed that they say his kids smoke a lot of weed, this kind of stuff. Very, very tragic, very tragic. But your thoughts would be interesting. And if you know anyone who has ever done that, is that something that happens a lot? I hope not. And then last but by no means least, how many generations does it take to transfer wealth from the black community to other communities after interracial marriage? Long words there. And what I'm going to be doing, I'll show you now, to be honest. I maybe do the news first. we're going to look at Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie, very talented singer from the 80s and 90s and 70s. And we're just to look at something from him. But before we go there, I believe we do have some news. Let me skip that. Hold on. So for those who don't know, the other way around now, we're looking at black women. There's a rapper called The Brat. She was rapping in the 90s. Very talented rapper. And no one knew, or they did know, but they didn't really say. But she's actually a same gender-loving person. This is a lesbian, meaning she's a person who wants to spend the rest of her life with a woman, a black woman. So, that's always good that, at least she managed to pick a black woman, which is always good. But where the story kind of twist is, they wanted to have kids because, as you probably know, women can't have children on their own, just like men can't have children on their own. This is one of the big kind of hoo-has about homosexuality, and they say, but some people say that there's something going on in the mind that makes people want to be this way. I don't know. We have to really research that. But either way, these ladies, they wanted to have children, and they went to a sperm bank, I think they call it, and there was a choice of kids, and if it was only one actual black option, and they said that this particular black man looked like Jiminy Cricket, which is a character from a Disney show, and they said, no, sir, I would rather have a non-black person or a white person, particularly, than a black person who looks like Jiminy Cricket. I don't know if Jiminy Cricket might have been actually played by a black man. I know in Disney there was a lot of racism towards black people. Quite a lot. We'll cover that at one point. But I don't know if he was actually played by a black person. Either way, so they decided to go with a white donor. And this, obviously controversy, like, wow, this is, is this appropriate? Is this self-hate? So something with it, that's part of the news. We're going to skip that. Maybe if you got any questions about that, feel free at any time. Welcome, Brother Dave. Jump in. If you got anything you want to say as we speak, feel free to say pause. We'll pause and you can speak.
Welcome. How everybody doing? What's up, Queen?
Shalom, Brother Dave.
How you doing, sweet?
Yeah, I'm good. Oh, I see Raven's got a choice of topics here, and boy.
Very
yes,
interesting.
we're just going to go for the new news. So this is cutting news that comes in. For those who don't know, and sadly in America, there was a homeless Michael Jackson impersonating dancer recently happened. And unfortunately, he was dancing and apparently got very irate by being hungry and people not giving him money for food, this kind of stuff. And at the end, something's happened where a European or white, ex-Navy SEAL, ex kind of army something, I got him in a headlock or a chokehold. Sorry, not a headlock. A choke for 15 minutes, and unfortunately killed him. And there was people there who were holding his hands. We've actually got a news report on that. Should we watch that? I have blackified it, so let's watch that now. While I drink my tea. We'll see. Where is it? Is it here? It's there. Let's listen to that. Very sad.
He was a talented Michael Jackson impersonator performing on the New York subway and in Times Square. Now Jordan Neely's tragic death in a chokehold on the same subway where he once entertained passengers is causing an uproar.
Justice for Jordan Neely! Justice for Jordan Neely!
30-year-old Jordan Neely was not impersonating Michael Jackson when he boarded a subway train in Lower Manhattan. His life had apparently fallen apart. Witnesses say he was hostile and threw garbage at them. He reportedly screamed, "I don't have food, I don't have drink, I don't mind going to jail and getting life in prison. I'm ready to die."
Where are the cops?
A passenger shot this cell phone video as a 24-year-old former U.S. Marine puts Neely in a chokehold and keeps him there. Two other passengers try to restrain Neely's arms. One witness shouts a dire warning.
What's saying is there's a man saying, you've got to let him go. My wife is an ex-military. You're going to kill him now. This is after 15 minutes of strangling someone. I think they say if you're on a headlock, you get 2 minutes of 3 to 2 minutes of oxygen, and then it's brain damage, unfortunately.
The chokehold reportedly went on for 15 minutes.
It's a long time to strangle someone.
Around 20 seconds, you lose consciousness, but then once you don't have prolonged oxygen supply to the brain, it's irreversibly damaged. And
okay, so that's yes, this is the thing. These techniques that the army guy was using is used to kill people in the war. I don't think it's appropriate for the train for homeless Michael Jackson impersonators.
that's around 2 to 3 minutes.
The unidentified former U.S. Marine from Long Island was questioned by police but released. Now there are calls for him to be charged in Neely's death and
One thing also, if we always use these things as case studies, note that the individual's name has been pushed forward. They're protecting really well. This is something that we have to be aware of.
Angry protests. Firebrand New York Congresswoman AOC posted, Jordan Neely was murdered, but because Jordan was houseless, the murderer gets protected. Mayor Eric Adams is calling her post irresponsible.
People displeased with the black mayor here, saying he's not really supporting the cause.
Let the investigation take its course.
John Miller, CNN's chief law enforcement analyst, says the chokehold banned by many police departments is used.
That's right, it's banned by the police, too dangerous.
Used by the Marines.
The blood flow is restricted to the brain, causing the enemy to pass out. This is something they're supposed to use on the battlefield, and they're trained in that. It's not supposed to kill somebody.
Neely had a record of 42 arrests, including 3 for assaulting women. He reportedly suffered from schizophrenia. His death is raising echoes of the murder of George Floyd in 2020 and the chokehold death of Eric Garner at the hands of New York City police in 2014. Manhattan District Attorney.
We are asking a question today about black women feel protected. And one thing we do have to understand is we do understand that black men are under a huge attack. It seems to in many countries. Something we have to note of. And you know, when your first line of defense is constantly being attacked, it could trickle down. Very sad. We'll stop it there. That was one of the news. That was new news there. We'll be following that as time goes by. Unfortunately, brother Jordan Neely was murdered, and we'll see what happens as time progresses. Something also that happened, I don't know much about. This is very sad. We're going to cover this as well. There was a lady. This is in Brixton, Koshiwa Dogby. She, a 31-year-old, was stabbed to death today by a guy called Mohammed Noor, a 33. I don't know much about it. It just came. I don't know if you're aware of it, but we'll see if we can find more info. But this is the reason why I triggered, because I was into some debate. Funny enough, maybe I should have tried to download it. I was in a debate today, obviously in the comment section, the most explosive place on the internet, and I think there was a brother. He said, you know, we must protect black women. Good on him. And I think there was a European lady, or not, maybe more Arab, Syrian kind of lady, who jumped in and said, oh, you got to protect all women, not just black women. And naturally, I jumped in and said, you know, stop trying to take things away from black women. And then a back and forth happened, whatever. But that's the reason I'm bringing up, is because one thing we have to put in the assessment when we're looking at do black women feel protected is how non-black people, and particularly black women, non-black women, will actually jump in when black men try to do some form of, you know, safeguarding, protecting, and really try to make black men feel guilty. And I see a lot. We should bring it up, and maybe I should try to capture some of these back and forth. But for example, black men saying we must protect black women, and people jumping in, you must protect all women. You see, and we should tackle that as well. That's a very interesting topic to have. And last but not least, very important. Obviously, you know, there's a war in Sudan where obviously when two armies are fighting, it's always the innocent people who are affected. And it'd be good if we could have someone from Sudan come in and give us an update of what's going on over there. We wish them well. It's never good when war's going on, but I know there's many Sudanese friends we have, and yeah, we wish you well, and hopefully that can get sorted soon. Okay, so that's the new news. We just quickly jump through those very speedy stuff, very important. Now, before we ask our guests to jump in and talk, and don't forget the link is there. Feel free to jump in. We are asking a question. Black women collectively don't feel valued or protected by black men. We invite black men to help fix this. Connected to black men's choices, we're going to do a case study about. We always do a case study about people in the public eye. And a very interesting one is I will say his name wrong. Why is my name going black? Lionel Richie. There you go. Lionel Richie. For those who know, Lionel Richie in the 80s was probably like silver medalist, bronze medalist when it comes to black men selling individual projects. I think his albums went like 10 diamond, which is quite good, 10 million in the 80s. It was behind maybe Prince and Michael Jackson, so it was, you know, really good. And he married a black woman, which is always good, you know, it was good. But they didn't have children. But apparently there was a daughter they adopted. You see her to the right here, because their best friend, it was a black man and I think a white woman, or vice versa. They had a child, and that child was what their parents was on drugs or alcoholic or something like this. So they adopted this particular child, and then they didn't have their own child biologically. But then something happened towards the 90s or something where they broke up. It's never good. It's a shame. It's sad. But then obviously he found love again in a European woman, as you do, many black men do. And they themselves had 3 children. And I think the only reason I bring it up is because I noticed I was on some kind of website, and they had him there with his wife, not wife, sorry, his daughter. And his daughter's married a European man. And then I did some research, and I found that his son, as far as I can see, was dating a European woman, and the adopted what they call biracial child is now dating a white man. So this is a perfect example of a case study of wealth transfer into another community, how it's done. So at least the Ritchie family will be completely European owned. All his assets and stuff will then be inherited by his children, and it would funnel back into the European community. And this happens quite a lot. We looked at this for the Michael Jackson case, and pretty much any case really. And so I personally put this in the context of community building and valuing women myself, because if you having a woman inherit your stuff and your children inherit your stuff, and creating black children is part of how you have that kind of generational wealth. But yeah, just something. We'll unpack that more a few weeks to come. But just something we do week to week is we look at these kind of patterns, because I think awareness is important. I think when I talk to black men, which is the area of interest today, we don't seem to have that awareness of community building, ownership, generational wealth, and then this bleeds into do black women feel valued, protected, and you know what I mean. So we want to welcome Lady Divine and Dev. And we asked a question: black women collectively don't feel valued or protected by black men. We invite black men to help us focus this. So what do you guys think about the topic, guys?
Ladies first. Go ahead, Divine.
Let me stay quiet. Yeah, go, brothers. I want to hear the men speak, really, because there was a sister you had on your panel. No, you had a sister on the panel last week. I forgot her name. Oh, but she basically said everything I need to say, and I love that. I love the way she articulately just let everybody know how us black women are feeling. So I'd rather hear the men. That's what I really came here for. Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a brother Dev and myself, so we can back and forth. Any other men, feel free if you don't want to jump in to ask questions or put questions in the actual group, or just click on the link that's connected to the top and jump in. So, brother Dev, last week, I don't know if you heard it, but a lot of the women, if not all, said they don't feel valued or protected by black men. Do you have any views on this at all, in a constructive way?
Yeah, I heard about it, but I wouldn't say all women, and I understand when they say they are not feeling protected and safe because our black men are not doing their job. What is the cause of that? That is what I'm trying to find. What is the cause of that, and why is it continuing? Is it the men themselves? Or is it the women not allowing the men to do their job?
Well, let me stop you there. One of the complaints that we have consistently is whenever it's men talking about men, we sometimes always bring in women, which is they're not best pleased with this. Also, I guess we're trying to trigger something in the brain computer of men where it's like something is wrong, let's find out. But we definitely, if they already feel that way, we don't want to talk in a way that continues that going on. So and also, one thing we always talk about things from a collective standpoint. We are going to find a tremendous amount of women who feel protected, or might be our own sisters, mothers, and lovers, and this kind of stuff. However, it's more of a broad statement about how women generally feel at a wider spectrum. So we won't be able to use the nuances of our own wives or our mothers to as a case study, because it's more of a broad thing. And it's like, what could we do in educating or motivating or some kind of thing to change that? And I think examples were given last week about, when black women are being insulted, maybe on the internet or in publicly, how quickly black men come in. Also things like black men who might revel in undermining black women. Also, there might be the historical culture of popular music of that might not either uplift or downtrodden black women. This could be seen as a form of lowering the value. Lots of things.
I definitely need to touch on that, the music. Yeah, because we find our brothers who get in certain position and have certain power, and who can disseminate songs that can uplift our women and also encourage the men what is their job. They literally degrade women and speak to women in very despicable manner. And a lot of us men listen to those music and not realizing subconsciously we are automatically not feeling it or seeing it fit to want to go all out for the woman because you've been hearing these music in your head. Who choose to listen to them? Bitch and hoes, etc. You know, targeted our black woman. And subconsciously, to us, is a song, but we don't realize the role it plays in your mind after. You know what I'm saying? So I think the music, because I'm speaking from experience, whereby growing up, when I used to listen dancehall regularly, and it makes me feel a type of way. And then German come out and done, gold teeth, front teeth, back teeth. As a young person, you try to emulate what he's trying to say, what he is saying, not realizing what he is speaking about is just lyrics. See what I'm saying? So I guess now that you get older and you have not washed these thoughts out of your mind, it gets spilled over into other aspect in your lives. So then you start living those lives without you not realizing that the seed or the root of it was this music that you've been hearing from a very young age. And as you get older, there are other music follow because you may move from dancehall to hip hop, but you get the same type of language. See what I'm saying? So you just compound it even more in your brain. So now that you have a black princess in your life, you could only give her what's inside of you. You could only treat her the way you know how to treat a woman. And if these are the music that you grew up on and indoctrinated by, obviously you ain't gonna go all the way out to protect her. Because the music is saying to you, she's not worthy of it. She is this, she is that, she don't deserve that. We just use them and kick them to the side. See what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, and that's why awareness is important, because when you're aware of how things have a domino effect, you can plan. So, for example, music. There's certain there's a beautiful history we could look at many of music and how it became how it was. But there are particular music groups out there, music genres that specialize in upliftment. So, for example, roots reggae. Let me put that in the link. So, and this is what we were saying. Like, we were breaking down. Say when you listen to white and European music, especially country and pop, this kind of stuff, they don't necessarily need to say white women. When they say things like beautiful blonde hair, blue eyes, and in their lyrics, we know they're talking about women. So, and roots culture was one of that kind of thing where uplifting black women through music and song, family vibes, and being constructive and all this kind of good stuff, right? And reach back to Africa and all that nice stuff. So once again, this is awareness, consciousness, wokeness, as they say, right? And I think in order for us to fix these challenges, we have to be aware, and that's why we have to ask our women how they feel, and we have to come together to work on it. We are joined by Lady Divine. So when you go out in the internet space, sister, do you feel like on the average that black men have this protection vibe towards you and other black women? Do you feel yes or no, or in between? Does it change day to day?
It's a big fat hell no. Sorry, that's my response. Hell no.
But why do you feel that way?
From my experience, remember, I'm quite so for those who don't know, I'm quite vocal on the internet, and I'm in a lot of different spaces and a lot of different areas, and the majority from what I see, and I must say though, to be fair, it depends on what kind of space I'm in. Let's be honest here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in like a conscious space or in the Black community space, 100%, I feel protected. Yes, I feel I'm good. Unless it's a religious situation going on, I might be in the firing line. It just depends. But in normal everyday conversations amongst Black men on like the UK panels and stuff, definitely no, and definitely no. None of our sisters do. None of us.
Right. So this is obviously do black men care? Black men out there, how do you feel? Do you care that black women, at least the ones mentioned here, don't feel valued or protected? Do you feel a community can rise above their women? Let us know. Now do you feel that it might be a lack of value for women in general, or do you feel that there is a hierarchy amongst the other people groups? Like, for example, do you feel that maybe black men, or the ones you might have encountered, might have a higher value and protection mechanism for non-black women? Kind of like we
That's a
saw
whole
with the brand.
fact. That's a definite fact. And we see it displayed every single day. Every day. It's a whole fact, yeah.
So,
but even another thing that we can look at too is that to a certain extent that the men has been thrown off their throne too, yeah? And we have to acknowledge that where the system push women over men, yeah? And once you threaten a man's position, he tend to not give you the respect and the support that you need. And I think when you look at the system, how they pushing this woman thing, woman, I'm not, in other words, woman has their role, men have their role. But how the system of the world is pushing it now is a woman world. Yeah? I don't need a man. I don't need a man to be happy. I don't need a man to make a child. I don't need a man to do that. So when the men are hearing that, it's like, Chupul, boy, I have to look out for you. You don't need me. See what I'm saying? And sometimes it's nothing to do with the woman per se, but it's what they've been fed with. They give them a platform whereby they can run things basically. As Beyonce said, women run the world. Who run the world? A lot of women take that literally. And boost up their ego and boost up their self. And it's like, I don't need a man. No, I don't know. No, I don't know. I can do it all by myself. So when you have that type of mindset and that type of action and behavior, how do you expect a man to stand up, protect you, and be there for you? A black
let me
man
jump in, brother Dave. Let me jump in because I hear that, and I can't say I agree or disagree, but what I can say is one of the complaints that me and the sisters have is whenever we men come together to discuss, black women not feeling protected, value. The narrative, the story seems to always go down to how black women are behaving, allegedly behaving. Now, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I am seeing the path of that being quite consistent. And I think one of the challenges we might have as men, when we send the link out for people to jump in, is what should we do as men to correct these shortcomings, right? So what could we do to negate or look over or fix or remedy these reasons of why women might be this? So people mention the system and how women might be able to progress at a faster rate than men, and then now you have this dynamic change. What can we do about this? These are the questions I suspect many women want to hear, and it's one. And I suspect this show might be, at least within the UK and around the English-speaking platforms, might be one of the few platforms that's willing to tackle that. I think it's there might be an elephant in the room or a woolly mammoth, or I think I'll explain this to some women, black women, on some other show not too long ago. And that is, unfortunately, we seem to have this dynamic between black men and black women as a kind of competition thing. And I'm saying, if you ever want to see a change between black men, the challenge, the trick, or the strategy should be take the competition away from black man versus black woman and make it black man versus non-black man, meaning compete. And the analogy we can look at is, for example, feel that many black men love sports and they support teams, and they're really into teams and they want their team to win and they support their team no matter what. They go through and they want to progress and come number one, and that's because of a competition kind of vibe, right? I think if we have black men compete with black women, it's a lose-lose. So the goal should be, from my humble opinion, is how do we make black men compete? How do we, do things that promote and push, black upliftment, black families, black education, black reform, black betterment, all that was good black stuff, right? So I think with men, we want to strategize and invite other men on to discuss this. But one thing we have to be aware in the front of the mind is black women have already complained that every time they observe black men come together, it's more about talking about what black women have done that's a shortcoming, rather than highlighting us men, our collective inadequacies, meaning our lack of ability to work as a team, or be consistent on a particular thing, or build some kind of infrastructure that has protection, or just in general, checking people who are not doing the right thing, which is probably the more easier step that a lot of women were requesting last week. Just checking men who are speaking against black women openly and making that a thing and making it a very unpleasant place for black men who go publicly and harm or mistreat or undermine black people or black women.
Can I interrupt there, though, Raven, just to say that? So, because I did listen into the show from in the chats last week, and actually, I wanted to shout out Brother K. I know you're not here at the moment, but actually, he actually implemented that. And the funny thing is, you see, when you were speaking earlier, and you were saying about, you tend to have a white woman or another non-black woman jump up and say things like, not just black women, all women kind of situation, yeah?
Yes.
When Brother Kel does it, because he does it all the time, he does try to jump in, interject, check brothers when he can see the disrespect is flying towards the sisters. And they call him a simp. They call him the black, you just do this because you're trying to pander to the black woman. He gets ridiculed for trying to defend us and checking other brothers. So do you think this is something feasible that black men can even do? Because the few black men we do have that will stand up and check other black men, they get called simps, they get clowned, they get told that, oh, you're a black woman, you got these black women these black women have got you wrapped around their fingers, you're just pandering to black women. So it basically becomes a mockery. And I don't think that's going to be taken seriously, Yeah,
no, that's good, and I'm glad you said that. And what you're highlighting is, first of all, branding, and I'll break that down, and also competition. So the branding that's happening is there's a new way of information, and that is when someone behaves in a way that a particular group don't like, use these terms, simp, and all the rest of it, right? So once again, the challenge is to change the dynamic. So just like the best thing you can do is you can separate black men from non-black men, right? Because what happens is they try to create this like unified men movement of just critiquing men who well, with women or whatever, right? But what you got to say is in your paradigm, you might see yourself as one manly group, but there's a dynamic where the non-black men are performing at a higher rate and protect their women at a better ratio than the black men. And then you go, what is to be done about it? Because in that competition, that race, you're losing. You see? This is the strategy that I suspect me, Brother Kel, and everyone else is doing. And we're trying, it is down to black men checking black men. And the idea is for us who are on code and synchronized to come through and do that at a rate where the more you chip away, the more you highlight the shortcomings, the inadequacies. So like I said, originally, when we tried to promote black love and this kind of stuff, you'll have the black men who jump in and talk about universal love and loving Europeans and this kind of stuff. And then what we go is we take away from the black man to the white woman, to the black man loving and respecting the white man and what he's produced. So once again, you transfer it to competition. I understand that you love the white woman because the white man is successful at producing something that you admire and desire. But don't you think it's now your turn to do the same? Don't you think you should reform your community so you find your own women desirable, so you can compete on that kind of marketing phrase? This is how we always do. You always take it back to men versus men. Whenever you make it men versus women, it will go down that road.
But then again, bro, a lot of our brothers have lost their value. They have lost their value. So if you have lost that thing, that essence, that which is you, after that, anything goes. So we got to come back to our values, not just as a person, but as a nation. And within that nation, the women make up that nation as well. So once you understand your value, your morals, and your role as an individual, a part of that nation, then you know how to behave. See what I'm saying? But if you don't have that value and you don't respect yourself first and foremost, you are going to tell anybody anything, because why? It's a reflection of who you are. And a lot of the brothers don't realize when you open up your mouth and start to speak, it's a reflection of you. As much as you may think you're just chewing chat or whatever, or giving cloud, no, it's a reflection of you. Because you can't give me what you don't have. So everything that comes out of your mouth tells me who you are. And I think once we get to that understanding as men, I think we'll make better decisions in life. But until that, we're going to continue seeing this type of behavior.
So
we are going to continue.
Do you feel that either delineating, shunning, educating might be in order for black men to lead on that concept? So the sister did mention Brother Kel going into
but sometimes in the atmosphere is being done. Yeah. Sometimes in the atmosphere is being done in the, atmosphere is being done. Sometimes the atmosphere is hostile. And you trying to check a brother there, he's going to kick back, because that's the energy that is progressing there at the moment. See what I'm saying? Outside of that, I'm sure if you ever sit down with him behind the scene and have a conversation, you quicker get through to him. But because when you get on this planet, as the sister say, when she go on certain,
we become entertainment. Yeah, and I think that's what I don't think us as collectively black men and women realize. We are a lot of these people's entertainment. They enjoy listening to us. They enjoy listening to us cussing, going back and forth, spilling out all our woes and sorrows on these panels, talking about how we're going to fix what they take enjoyment from it and use it to mock or use it to get for a story, like, or whatever it is. And a lot of the brothers that don't even realize what's going on, they entertain it. They provide that entertainment that they need, not realizing that it's at the detriment of our community. They don't to them it's, oh, they're doing a coalition thing going on. It's a whole coalition. Oh, we're all the same. We're all this. We're all that. We can work together. Stop being separate. We get told that a lot. Our sisters, we get told that we're separatists. We want a pure spiral. We hate white people. We hate other people. It's just ridiculous. Anytime you speak about anything pro-black, oh, trust me, it becomes a problem on these panels.
So who are we protecting black women from, guys? First of all, from MA, I think that question there, and the answer is we're protecting black women from harm, from other black men, from men in general, from bad branding, bad marketing. There's one of the many answers. The sister just came on and said two things, that they get accused of being many things, but when there's something that probably we can segue into choices. This is both about black men and black women, and one thing that black men, when we try to help lead and defend black women, we're gonna obviously have to come with certain recommendations, and that might be, as black women, you might not want to go on too many shows that openly disrespect you, and go more so on shows that respect. Now, if there isn't that many shows, let us know so we can create the foundations and institutions and podcasts or whatever that don't do that. Now, hopefully, this at the very least can be one where black women are always welcome in here, We try to have rules to be constructive. We don't use profanity. We try to minimize anxiety whenever we can. And we definitely, I don't like using the word safe space, but this should be a safe space for Black women. Um, and maybe that could be a thing. Like let the white ladies know there is a space that tolerates Black women, and we see a value in constructive Black man, a constructive Black woman, making a constructive Black family. So, Lady Divine, do you think that might be a thing to pass on to other women that?
Oh, definitely. We've already, from the last time we spoke to you on the weekend, I've actually been doing that. I've been actually, saying to the sisters, come over to that Raven show. It's more of a safe haven. I've been trying to discourage the sisters from going to other panels. Not that I'm not trying to support other brothers and sisters out there, but I do need the sisters to understand that although we have the mindset of building and working through our problems together ourselves, our brothers are not on the same alignment as us. They want the coalition. They want all these other guests. They want to entertain. They want to, they can go on for 13, 14, 15-hour shows. They need us there because we keep the shows going. And we are, again, the entertainment for everybody else. But the respect across these panels, it's just, it's too much. So I just discourage the sisters now. I tell them no, and stop frequenting these places. But then another problem is the lack of other places to go to. So there's only like 3 or 4 shows that we know that are going on that we can, communicate on throughout the day when you're working or whatever the case may be. And those shows are telling you that it's for open, it's for everybody to join, anyone, races, anybody can join. Then you're going to be in the line of attack at some point or time throughout the day. You are.
Well, sister, what we try to do is get constructive Black people who want to work with Black people in some kind of coalition. And what we could do is we could set up networks where we find out yourself if you want to have a show, and some other sisters, other brothers, find out what the show's about. So one might be about family, one might be about economics, one might be about comedy, or whatever it might be, right? And then we try to actively support and promote these networks. But we obviously have a code of conduct of what we're trying to achieve. Now, one thing I realized when I started doing like community work is economics can actually dictate the things people do. So one thing I wanted to make sure was I was never dependent upon certain kind of institutions for me to get by, because they could control my outcome. And I think when we're now living in this kind of like YouTube world where people get subs and payments and subscribers, those kind of stuff, that becomes.
You touch a point there that is key. Yeah.
Yes.
You touch a point there that is key, because a lot of these guys, they do these things for money. They're not doing it to uplift.
Likes, clicks and views. Hallelujah.
Clicks and views and entertainment. That's why they do it. So they're not doing it thinking about protecting the Black woman or uplifting the young Black man. No, I'm doing it because I got to make a certain amount of money. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they allow anything to go.
Yeah,
that's why they allow anything to go.
Very true. And this is what I'm trying to bring up. And unfortunately, Black people arguing and bickering is very entertaining. This show, deliberately, when we started this show, I come from a performance background. I come from, an entertainment background. So I understand how to get laughs and cheers. And I understand that laughs and cheers get more clicks and stuff. But the problem is these things become like pigsties very quickly, right? And
it's at the detriment of our community, always.
So that's why there has to be a more laid back, more controlled, less entertaining, sadly, to an extent, variant of trying to find solutions, and also being solution based. I think what I would say is, if you're going to go on these shows, either go on there and don't just try to invoke anything that's going to create this kind of controversy, or go in there for a strategy with other people where you can have a team and you can be constructive in the way you deliver your stuff. But it does take a lot of training and dopamine control to go and hear these kind of stuff and not be drawn out and then create a 2-hour back and forth name calling fest, which I see a lot.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that all the time. If I hear somebody disrespecting anything to do with my community, I'm going for them. And again, the likes goes up, the views go up, the entertainment's now there, because now they're seeing a so-called quote unquote pro-Black going at it with, I don't know, a racist or a raccoon or whatever it may be. but it's entertainment purposes.
Yes. Well, welcome, Brother Daniel, to the show. Welcome, Brother Daniel. Black Bearman.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
Greetings, Brother Dev. Greetings, Lady Divine.
Blessings, man.
Bless.
So
Good.
we are. So the show name of the show is Black Women Collectively Don't Feel Valued or Protected by Black Men. We invite Black men to help fix this. Is this something that you will be willing to work with other Black men to fix, Brother Daniel?
Yeah. I just like to say that I've heard Brother Dev speak on topics before or on shows, Lady Divine, and I just like to say, you know, you hold your space, very humble, very respectful to the community, and it's hard out there when you're around people that have no intentions of embodying who they are and they're just playing a part for the world. Meaning, like, I've heard Brother Kel, you know, get ripped apart for just being honest and sticking up for our people. There was and it goes back to this colorism thing. Kel's good when he's defending us on certain topics which people don't have true facts about our culture, where we're from, you know what I mean, staying on code. Then there will be someone of a lighter tone that's, you know, has issues, alcohol issues, will come on and she'll call him out of his name, and everyone would use that to fight him down. Like, oh, now we've got him now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we're quick to use whatever tool goes against us than use the tools that strengthen us. And it'll give us plenty of tools to work with, you know? But in saying that, some of the problems I'm just bringing up is that we're saying Black men, and a lot of us men are still boys in nature, you know? And we've never been taught how to be men. And after we grow a certain age, unless we're open up to hear a Dev, you know, or someone speaking Sev, we know it all. Who are you talking to? Do you know what I mean? The attitude kicks in. It's harder to bend the tree after it's firm in the roots, you know?
Yes.
It's very hard. So that's why a lot of us say, you know what, there's not even no point coming in, because all we're doing, like Lady D say, is entertaining others in a space. And we're trying not to look small. We don't want to look little.
Right.
You know, our main thing is, how do we look? How is our public persona for those who are watching? And we're also seeing that other culture looking in, and we're trying to impress them, trying to say, you know what, we're not all like that. Whatever reason, we're trying to impress them. But in doing that, Lady Divine will get, stop your noise, man. You keep moaning, man. What are you going on for? You're being aggressive. We raising up your voice for. Yeah, you're doing that for. And I'm saying, yeah, but you're not hearing her. So when she's all humble, you're just ignoring her, over talking her. But when she raises up to get her voice heard, it's an issue. But when anyone comes in the room that's not like that, they get a space. Because it's like
they
I'm
get
saying,
the red carpet treatment. Yeah. They can get free talk, no over talking, all of that.
Yes. So it's easier for us to go down the road of being universal with everyone else, because the challenge of being ourselves in a space like that is hard, and no one wants to do the hard work. So for me, I don't mind putting the work in, putting myself at risk, and taking what's coming on the way. It's just a challenge at times when the numbers are it's 8-1 all the time, no matter what, you know. So if we could find ways of doing that, I'm quite willing to play my part, because I'm a soldier warrior, where the only thing I want to know is, what can I do to help? That's all I want to know. You know what I mean?
Brother, we give thanks to Brother Daniel there. He said something very important, very important stuff. And I guess it comes down to positions, and I think, and strategies. I think what obviously you mentioned, brother Kel, and Brother Kel, wonderful brother, takes a lot of slack for trying to, you know, unite and progress Black people through unsynchronized other people, and obviously anti-Black races. And what I would say is, maybe there's a position you play. So maybe the Brother Kel's, myself, and other brothers, we might lead in these topics and debates, and then you guys play back up a defense, right? So you guys don't then take the first firing shot. We'll take the first one, and then you can play assist. But one thing to do that, we need strategies, and one of them is, like, I would recommend, whenever you're talking, to be solution based and have a purpose and declare that, but also not to be drawn out in profanity and name calling. And the reason I say that is because as a strategy, when you go there, you allow that to be the topic and you allow that to define the actual mood. If someone wants to be unsynchronized, we'll catch up on and go, well, you're using derogatory terms here. Is this how you envision for us to progress, whatever, right? And let us do that kind of civilized back and forth to try to get situated rather than a back and forth of name calling. Now, what we have on the screen at the moment is an analogy about black people, right? And that is, if you were to get all the black football players who are the best in the world allegedly today, this is who I asked an opinion poll, and apparently these men are the best African black descendant football players around today. And if you were to take them and put them on a team and call it Black Rangers, Black Country Rangers FC, and put it in the Premier League, there's a high chance they'll probably win it. Yeah, but they probably wouldn't if they weren't playing as a team. So what that says is, individually, you have amazing skill from black people, but when it comes to working as a team, you're inadequate, you see? And that's what this is showing you. So those who understand football and soccer, all this kind of stuff, this is not the position that football players should be playing in. You shouldn't be off the field. Your goalkeeper, which is, where is he? Where's the goalkeeper? Your goalkeeper shouldn't be at the halfway line, you see? That's not a good strategy. So the idea is to try to play as a team, right? And establish
your position.
Yeah, play your position. So maybe, brothers and sisters, being in the front line, the firing line, isn't for you if you're someone who's very fiery. Maybe you should be defending someone who's in the fire in the front line, and then obviously know when to turn your mic on and off. But also, there's always usually that captain delegated, and the captain speaks. When the captain says something, they understand it's for the greater team. So if a brother says, sis or bro, let me handle this, they go, all right, bro, I'll let you handle it, because he understands that this is where it's going to go. I always say this to black people: we have to move backwards 2 steps so we can move forward 8 steps, and then we make a 6-step progression. See, but if we move forward 1 step and come back 1 step, and then move forward 1 step and come back 1 step, we haven't moved anywhere. And I think in that initial kind of moving back twice, it's going to feel like a big defeat. So how this show addresses that, and it's very hard for a lot of people to address, is we start the show with these 3 starting statements, and we've been doing it many times. And that is this: look, when it comes to working as a collective with only black people or matters that benefit black issues, black progression, and black ownership, black people are collectively inadequate. Why are we saying that? Basically, if you can highlight your shortcomings, you can motivate change, and knowing something is wrong can be what pushes you to find right. But even more importantly than that, whenever you try to go into public with unsynchronized black people or anti-black, non-black people, they will always try to push kumbayaism, you see. They always try to say we're all together. But we've acknowledged that we're actually not all together. We're many steps behind, right? And there is a value in practicing self-determination. So by putting forward we are inadequate as a team, it allows us to then come together to be a team and minimize the pushbacks, right? In theory, number 1. Number 2, individually, you might find a non-black person who shows some kind of camaraderie towards black people. However, collectively, black people have no friends. Why do we say this? Because they will always try to give you examples of nice non-black people who do nice things, and well done to them. But they will use that as a universal collective idea of how non-black people are towards black people. But the evidence is out that technically, as a collective, black people have no friends. A good strategy there, you see, because you will trigger black people's anxiety if you say that all whoever don't like us, right? Because they're going to think of their wife or their cousin or their adopted son, and they go, they love me a lot. So what you say is, no, we're going to say that your son or your wife, who's non-black, whatever it might be, loves you 100%. But when it comes to work as a collective to change or dismantle white supremacy or pay reparations, we have no friends. That's why these things haven't happened, you see? That's why they don't happen. So once again, there's the last, but by no means least, constructive black man with constructive black woman makes a constructive black family. One of the challenges we face, as we always give analogies and case studies, is many black men might have lost, the motivation to have constructive black families or black families in general. So we have to make that valuable again, right? And the reason we say constructive is because what we will find is if you say black man and black woman, they'll go, are you telling me that I should marry a terrible black woman versus a great white woman? You see? This is what they'll do, because they'll fight to always marry white, whatever. So you have to start the conversation by constructive black man with constructive black woman makes a constructive black family. This is codified language. if everyone who's trying to be constructive use the same term, the same languages, just like you say, Lady Divine mentioned that when a black man tries to promote black love, they call him a simp. You see, that's codified language from another group. They've trained that to use that as like buzzwords to bring up some kind of feeling. So we as black people who are seeking solution and black betterment, we have to have our own kind of way of thinking, our own strategies, and some of them might feel like we're stepping back twice. But I can assure you, when it comes to chess, that's how you do it. For those who don't play chess, I can let you know as you do. We'll welcome Empress Kush. Welcome to the show.
Sissy Kushti, bless up, sis.
Black Betterment.
Family, Black Betterment.
Excellent.
Bless up, sis.
Bless up, Daniel.
Blessings.
So welcome. Feel free to speak on anything you like. We've covered many. I don't know how much you've seen, but we are continuing from that. Black women collectively don't feel valued or protected by black men. We invite black men to help fix this. We're talking as men. We were joined by Daniel and Brother Dev, and we're trying to chop it up. But we're giving some insight from Lady Divine about some of the challenges she finds when black men, and she gave an example of Brother Cal, who's a regular, would go on certain forum panels, and he will be completely attacked by multiple black men as well as non-black people unified to undermine black progress.
Yeah.
And one thing I was asking, and it happened today when unfortunately there was a sister who was murdered, and I was in some forum where black men were saying we must protect our sisters, and then non-black women were jumping in. You got to protect all women, and this is one thing I want to highlight that some goes unchecked. That actually there is this guilt mechanism that non-black people seem to practice unethically to guilt black men into feeling guilty for openly confessing they long to protect black women, and that's something that we have to really be aware of.
Definitely. Yeah, I think there's lots of ways that I think perhaps you're talking about just dealing with people and the strategy in regards to dealing with them publicly, I guess. So yeah, I think there's a lot of different strategies or different scenarios, or so yeah, definitely it's about establishing connecting to someone who's like-minded when you're in them situations, and just trying to stay on code the best way, and brothers just trying to keep that line and just keep it going. So definitely I find it interesting in your example though, because I think that's another trap for black men who are staying on code, like women who tend to attack them, because again, it's just, I just think like what you said, something about there has to be a way sometimes with men and women who are on code where we just understand when's the right time to talk and when's not the right time to talk, and interchange it, because some topics might be a black woman's more strength on talking on and has more knowledge on, and then there's some scenarios where a black man's presence is necessary as well. So it's just about knowing when to interchange, when to change it up, and like you said, know your position in certain times in the argument.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see if I can find that.
But Raven, I'm looking at too that I think we reach a point where we have to run with who understands and who will apply what we're trying to build, and move forward with those people and grow and build and try to get more people on. And those that are, because I think we are going at some people that already make up their mind that, look, every chance I get, I'm going to try to disrupt this. Yeah? I'm going to try to disrupt this. So you're not, so I think we have to be strategic and be wise enough to know that, hey, let me stop hitting my head against the wall and know that, okay, we got to move on. There's somebody else who's willing to, accept the message and apply it and move on with us. You see what I'm saying? Because I think most of the time we go after people who have no interest.
Yes.
You know what you're about. They have no interest. They already made up their mind.
Brother Dev, let me just jump in. And the reason was, I think Brother Kel mentioned it, and it's something I've been mentioning in my Speaker Corners days. And this is, once again, it connects to strategy. And it's sometimes we're talking through people to people. Does that make sense? So even though we understand that the host of a particular show or debate will never love black women, will never love black economics, or anything like this. We understand that because they have 300 subscribers or 1 million subscribers, we can influence them. But that's why your people, it's more about how they see you interact that helps sell us an idea rather than the ideas themselves. If they see that you're constructive, consistent, and dedicated, and this is because of a lifestyle of Black Burma, then that makes that concept much more appealing. You know, a lifestyle that is dedicated to help our own people becomes more appealing. So we then become spokespeople and marketing agents of the ideas we're pushing. So that's why I would always say be very careful when we're effing and blinding and shouting and screaming, and then afterwards we promote something, because they'll make that synonymous with what we're promoting. Does that make sense, family?
Yeah, see what you're saying.
Now, what I'm going to say here is, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say though, I do kind of agree with Dev, because even Cal himself has said that there's certain places he just won't go to anymore.
Yes.
And so there is certain scenarios where I can see where you're coming from, but other scenarios are just counterproductive.
Yes.
And when you're in that scenario, just by affiliation, unless you are on the ball 24/7 to shut it down 24/7, you just look like you're affiliated, or you let things slide, or do you understand? So
yes,
if you're going to be on there, you need to be hot continuously. I just think, and then the level of attack, the level of
disrespect sometimes.
Exactly. There's no level to how low they won't go.
Yeah.
And now looking at you, I'm just contemplating why you are there talking to a message, banging your head against the wall when you're not getting anywhere, or your message can't get through a sentence. And I think people need to realize that there's a thin line of leading a charge and talking through to people than to just where people are just looking at you like I just think that just doesn't fit all the time anymore. I think we need to recognize that, for the amount of time that this has been going on for now, and the effort that's put in does not translate to what you're getting back out. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's regards to followers. Regards to followers or people coming back over, because like mind follow like minds. So there's only going to be a certain amount of people you're either going to be able to capture in that domain that's on your level, because like minds track like minds. They want to be there for that. They don't want to hear what you're saying. Like, you're just fodder. You're just like me. You're just like content. Do you know what I mean? To be ripped apart. Like, you're just like that. So I think if you're going to do those scenarios, watch where you're going, because that, like, speaking through someone, like, it doesn't land or it doesn't happen more times. It's just confusion. So, yeah.
So, big up Empress Kush there. What sister is articulating is discernment, you see? And that is one of the 4D values. You have to discern whether you should be on the show. Does it do more harm than good? Are you equipped for the show and what you're promoting? Do you have a team to back you up if you don't want to be mistreated or belittled? Once again, part of the 4D values is dignity, discipline, dedication, and discernment. Very important. We're joined by Brother IC3, or Black Burma Brother IC3, Mr. IC3.
Black Betterment, greetings.
Hey, blessings.
Blessings. You know this term, respect? I hear it a lot. Oh, disrespect. I think that respect is a matter of cultural perspective. So what one group of people or one society may see as highly disrespectful, another society might say that's respectful. That's why you hear people say, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't mean to insult you. Oh, I didn't mean to offend you." So respect is a matter of cultural perspective. So saying that, "Oh, these people don't respect me. Well, these people might not be your people. So why do until you explain to them what your standards of respect are, then they can know, oh, okay, so I shouldn't say that or I shouldn't do that. Any panel have any comment on that? Do you agree or disagree? Respect.
Okay,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say, I think I understand where you're coming from, but I believe it, but in the opposite way around. So if I know the level of respect and what respect is for me, and I find myself I'm inviting myself into their domain where they don't believe in respect, then I have no business being there. I can't go into somebody else's house and tell them how to do their respect.
Right.
Right.
Good.
So, again,
Good.
discernment.
Right. Good.
You gotta
And that saves the
protect your
stress.
mental space. You gotta protect your sanity.
Exactly.
If you go in there and it's not healthy for you mentally, you have no business there.
Exactly.
It's a matter of choice.
Very true. Thank you, the family there. We're can we fit in? Now, family, we have Brother Kel. We've been mentioning Brother Kel, and he's jumped in. Would anyone feel like dropping back for Brother Kel to jump on?
Yeah, I will.
You will. Thank you, Brother Dave.
Yeah.
Well,
everyone, have a bless.
I'll put you back in.
Bless evening. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Blessed brother Dave.
Okay.
Blessings.
Always a blessing. So I'm just going to push Brother Dave down. I think.
Just push me.
I think that's how it works. There you go. Welcome, Brother Kel, to Black Betterment, brother.
Black Betterment, Brother Raven. Black Betterment to the Sun people on the panel. I don't mind falling back, with the elder Dev. I'll just locked on. I'll just come on if he wants to, because his voice is very important.
It is important, but you were mentioned why your good deeds have traveled very fast, so you were mentioned. So we thought.
Okay.
Your reputation goes before you.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Sister Lady Divine we're talking about strategies of how to promote Black Betterment.
Okay.
And she said that she's very wary that very aware that when you go on certain panels, you're bombarded with from Black people and non-Black people to undermine and they use name calling like simp and this kind of stuff whenever you promote Black love.
Oh, yeah. Big up to the Sun Sister, Lady D. You have to use political science in it. So, first of all, I'm going to appreciate for the community and the Black Betterment organization for us creating these political words. What I do is, Sun Sister Lady D, is that when I'm on the panels, it's more to mantra the political words. So once everyone's politicized with the words, then I can stay back in the audience and I can always monitor that way. And if you notice our words that we use, because it's the community's words, it starts to resonate everywhere. Everyone says unsynchronized now. Everyone says method act. Everyone will say, oh, you're conquered African. You're a conqueror. You know what I'm saying? Everyone will say the ice people, the mountain people, the sand people, the sun people. This is what we as Black people, as a community, have done. So although, yes, you're in the battlefield, right? But there's more strategies. You're sinking into the mind of our people. And it's definitely sinking into the mind of African people, is that these people collectively are on code. And every time we say something, they have a political word to dismantle or restrain us from anything else. So that is the reality. Like the panels that we know are very toxic, but the fact that all of us been on there now, the words are resonated in the Americas and the Caribbean, in Africa. So that is the purpose of it. Although it may seem like whoa, we're going through this, but it's the mindset. So there's political strategies in it though, man.
Yes,
Brother Kel, before you jump in,
welcome IC3, sorry.
Greetings.
Before you jumped on, brother, we were given the analogy about teamwork, you see, and positions. And I think we were saying that is part of the team strategy, using words we can draw for, we can paint pictures of these words, and then we can also like assist people when they run. So even though it might look very daunting to see someone be berated that way, you could always play a backup for the person rather than be that person who starts that conversation that triggers everyone. You see, you just assist whenever needed, but also the importance of captaincy, where it's like someone can say, "Sister, fall back, or brother, fall back, I'll handle this. So if they're aware that you might be triggered by certain kinds of people who are actually trying to trigger you. So what you'll find is they try to find a destruct mechanism path where if I say this about this, it'll make them go off, and that way we can waste time for another hour. You see, I was always saying there's a gold, silver, and bronze medal when it comes to mistreating black people, and that is you get a bronze medal if I should write this down, but I think it's a gold medal if you can just reverse something, right? Meaning if you're trying to promote black betterment, if you can make them promote non-black betterment, right, helping other communities, that's a gold medal. A silver medal is if you can stop them entirely, just stop them, right? And a bronze medal is if you can just slow them down. You see, so they're trying to get that gold medal. They're trying to make you just not help black people, but help non-black people. If they can't achieve that, they go for the silver medal, which is just stop them completely. If they can't get that, they'll just go for the bronze medal and slow you down. And you're going to see that consistently. And that's why sometimes it's very good to let people know, just so you know, family, I'm here to practice black betterment. I'm here to promote constructive black love and try to get the community to move forward. Do you agree with these things or not really? And then it's just to have them confess what they're about, so you understand where you're at. Now, what we're going to do is we were talking about. We mentioned also that because obviously the main theme of this week, and I'll get it on the screen, is let's read it out. Black women collectively don't feel valued or protected by black men. We invite black men to help fix this. And what I was saying is we have to also highlight the multitude of black men who actually try to openly in the digital space protect black women, but they are then undermined by, say, non-black people. An example I was given was today, unfortunately, there's a sister who was stabbed to death, and this is terrible. And this is something that has caused great uproar, and people are trying to mobilize to prevent and minimize this from happening again. And brother from So Solid, Mega Man, who's done very good work behind the scenes. I've been with very
he does. He does.
And he said we should be protecting our black women from all our communities, not just kids and teenagers, but adult women, sisters, mothers, aunties, grandmothers, all of them. Now there was a European Syrian.
Was that his quote? Did he specifically say black women? Did he?
Yeah, he said black women. So it's our black women. Very important word, the our as well. And then he also went spread out adult women, sisters, mothers, aunties, grandmothers, all of them. Straight away, a non-black woman jumped in, probably Arab or Syrian, this kind of, and said, "Only black women? Is that a joke?" So naturally, I got in code and I said, all women being targeted? Please don't undermine the needs of black women or black men trying to fix our community. So once again, I'm trying to control the narrative because she's trying to make black men feel guilty that we are practicing some kind of ill ethical behavior by wanting our women not to be killed and this kind of stuff. And then there's a round of applause by a black woman. Once again, I do notice that black women are very quick to acknowledge this stuff, and this is a well done to the black women doing it. And then she jumped, of course, straight away. Not all about black people. Every woman deserves to be protected. Please, you are some low-key racist going on here. So once again,
they have the happenings for us. We're separatists. We're racist. Yep.
Yeah, they will try to call the victims of racist for trying to defend our women from racism, this kind of stuff, which is very interesting. And obviously, I jumped in and says, your quickness to throw other women in front of black women on a post that is highlighting the need to protect black women shows how you feel about black women. We understand your behavior, and we are having none of it. Shame on you. All right. And then I went out, I checked out a page as you do when someone trolls too much. And I noticed in the page I noticed in you have a Turkey and Syria earthquake fund on your page. Don't you think you should have a world earthquake fund? And I said, did you see what I did there? So once again, I'm looking at her trying to raise money for Syrian people and Turkish people. And she has a particular fund just for them, but she's saying that we're not allowed to just protect black women. You see? So this is what's happened. This is what happens now. She goes on all day, whatever it is, right? But either way, what I'm saying is, this is stuff that we have to be aware of. How many non-black people, and especially non-black women, and you catch these panels of discussion, will jump in and try to play with the dopamines of the black men, and you see that, right? I remember when I first went on one of these, not sure, I went on one of these shows. I know there's a European lady, a white lady, and the first thing she came out was she tried to be very cry tone, very like sobby, and many of I've seen this being practiced. They recognize that kind of cry tone might make black men go into defense mode. You see. You see, and I think that's why Brother Kel was trying to tell black women: if you say things like "I don't feel safe, I don't feel protected," you're triggering that kind of defense mode in black men to do something. And many black women
No. Pause. That's not true. What we've learned has happened since is a nice woman decided that she's going to listen into our strategy and then use it now as a mocking thing. So she now goes into panels saying, I don't feel safe, I don't feel protected. Like she's mocking, literally.
Right.
Well, and once again, when this happens, it's always about highlighting the reason behind things. So you go, well, the thing is, sisters, we're trying to protect ourselves and we're trying to have a fruitful life. Is this something that you feel is worthy of mocking? Like in a calm way, you highlight what someone is doing. And then you ask questions. Needy Fuller says you ask questions. It's always good to ask questions because sometimes we try to put the questions in their mouth and then we do it for angry tone. Let them say their wickedness. Let them with their own words highlight their wickedness. Control the narrative by letting them say that. You see, because remember, we already started the conversation to understand that we are underdeveloped. We are inadequate at these things, and we're trying to come together to fix it. Right. So and once again, I know this is going to be a hard strategy. The real goal is to make sure that black men are not competing with black women, but black men are competing with other men. You see,
that's right.
You can say, well, I understand why you can mock us because your men have gone around the world and mistreated everyone and provided a system to protect you. So you can mock us in our men's attempts at doing the same. You see, you highlight that we are trying to do for our women, but in an ethical way, what your men have done for you. You see, and once again, whenever they keep bringing in the ice woman, you say, I understand you like what the ice man has produced, the white man has produced. You see, you take. So I understand you value the white man so much that you want what he's produced, but do you not feel that it's about time to value what you produce, or value the marketing strategy to make what you produce the most alluring thing of all time?
And I gotta give credit to the sisters for saying that strategy, because the strategy not alone helps them to kind of stay in their femininity and also to allow the black man, the unsynchronized man, to reveal the fact that you are not manly. It's amazing when they say, and then there's always excuses. Oh, we want the benefits like you have. What are you talking about? And then we can assess it. Like, for example, there's a situation that there was an Iceman and he was instigating between me and another brother, right? And then the Iceman was saying things like this: "You brothers shouldn't be fighting. You're supposed to be black. You're supposed to be." And then the unsynchronized brother automatically decided to compete with him. So you are right that getting the black man to compete with the Iceman instead of it doing with the women. And what I liked about the Sun sisters, they remain feminine as well, right? In that majestic. What am I talking about? The fact that you're allowing a man to expose himself where he can't come to you and help, because by you saying I don't feel safe, I don't feel protective, what you're telling him is like, well, I'm a female, you're supposed to go in the battle, and it just works all the time, man. But yeah, most definitely.
And this is why on this show it's always good to discuss strategies and solutions, and this is a form of science, social science, where you come with theories and hypotheses and you test them in the real world, and you can refine and define them later to get the results we're looking for. Go ahead, Brother. You want to say something?
Yeah. Brother Kel sent me a copy of the code, synchronized code of conduct. And I find number 8 interesting. It says here, number 8, learning while understanding the political science of ice people, which means Europeans, sand people, which equals Arabs, mountain people, which equals Asians. So Why did you choose that rather than use the the IC codes, which are a lot more precision, and the system is actually built in to the governance of the environment that we're in Britain. So when you say Asians, then you're mixing the Indians, the IC4, with the IC5, with the Chinese. And so Rishi Sunak is IC4, he's not IC5. You see? And then so the real ICE people would be the IC1, but the IC2 are more nearer the Mediterranean. You see? And the IC3 is Caribbean, African, it's code for black. See? So would you consider amending the code of conduct and the language to be more precise, precise social engineering? Do you think that would improve the ability to coordinate and organize black people, IC3 black people?
But that's too much for us to
effectively?
remember, brother IC3. That is too much. I don't remember the codes. All the one code I know and remember is IC3 because I belong in that code. All the rest of them for me are for the birds. I think it's much easier for our brains as well when we do use the Kel strategy and we do say that ICE people, we all know who we are talking about amongst us. But when we use the codes, people are thinking, well, which code is this one and which code? Do you know what I mean? It's too much thinking involved when we're trying to be on point and sticking to certain subject matters. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. It's just too much for us to be processing to go into everyone's code to find out
Yeah,
who
I
fits it.
understand what you're saying. I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying, but I think it's. I don't agree.
Go
on.
Your code, what you've come up with, is very valuable, and it is part of the code of conduct. You can actually use it with that. The thing is, right, is that the reason why
Sorry. Remember, it's not my code.
well, you're not on about it. You're the one that advertise it, and we're truly grateful. The community came up with this code of conduct, all of us. And the thing is that our dopamines, Elder, is very, very intense, and we have a tendency of categorizing on African people, and that's due to the fact of some of them has helped us in our life. Sometimes we are in relationships with them, etc. So the strategy is that you generalize all of them, like what Lady D says, to generalize all of them. You are ice, mountain, and sand, right? And at the same time, understand their temperaments, because you'll get some people say, "Well, he's Chinese, but he don't do what he does." But in actuality, they all operate as a collective against us. So I will not dismiss your IC3 table. You know what I mean? I have to use it myself because, of the law of the land. It's just that under that banner, just to generalize, it can be part of it. The code of conduct is very flexible, Elder. You could be whatever religion. And have you noticed the religious part? What we all came up with, sorry, with the thing, how it's done.
What code is that? Which part is that? Number one is marrying. Number two is temporary coalition. 3. Which one? Which number is it?
With the synchronized one, it's got like how to. So, for example, if you're practicing the African spiritual system, you have both foot in helping African people. I'm not gonna have an issue with the African spiritualists because I know the reality that they're just gonna have to be. But the Abrahamic, have you noticed what's been put down there is that you 90% help out black people and 10% help out your non-black brothers and sisters, because in their religion it says that we have to help all. So the 10% is that you help them 10% because they all have the resources anyway. You understand? So it caters.
When you say 10%, oh yeah, I got it here. It says this is number 7 you're talking about. It says having a black-centered mindset in religion, or if you not religious, e.g., those who practice the African spirituality, you have both feet in towards that.
Hold on, if you're not religious.
Huh?
What was that? If you're not religious?
Yeah, I'm just reading what it says here from the code.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I'm just reading direct. Those in the Abrahamic religions, you have one foot in helping your black brothers and sisters making sure it's 90% and giving 10% to your non-African brothers and sisters due to the power dynamics and privileges they have collectively. This applies to the African non-religious followers towards their non-African religious followers. 90% of your people, 10% for your non-African religious followers. So I find it difficult. How you see 10% is very precise. That 90% is very precise. So how do you get these percentages, and how do you apply them in religion? I mean, it's
Sorry,
is it a
family.
feeling?
Can I just say, I'm just conscious that Brother Raven is very strict on time, and this was a follow-on on the behalf of the sister wanting to really hear brothers talk on protecting Black women. And I think one of the biggest frustrations from the sisters that came on before was that she felt that a lot of time was wasted. And that was why this time was supposed to be dedicated. And I just kind of can't help to think if we're talking about how we're labeling Black is and stuff like that, or a document that not everybody's seen. Again, the fundamental thing that
This is a
constantly happens
synchronization
here.
document. This is it.
No, she's right. She's right.
Yeah, there's a time and a place, brother. There's a time and a place.
No,
She's right.
Like
what
we've got.
we should do,
Sorry, just before I was
we can have it.
interrupted.
No, hold on, brothers. We can have a dedicated show about the code. And
all right, okay,
fantastic. And if you could email us, everyone who there's some requests in the chat, brother Kel, and we can go over that. We can have a dedicated day to it. Definitely important. This is very important. I have to highlight the important voices going down there. But it's correct, as in we have dedicated certain days to have the men talk about how to fix Black women feeling not valued and not protected. And this is correct.
How can you fix a feeling? Or, some Black women will feel one way, and some Black women Black females will feel another way. You're gonna waste your time running around trying to fix feelings.
Well, I think what we're trying to do is...
I'm very surprised at that IC3, considering you've witnessed a lot of this. I'm very surprised at that.
No,
Okay,
but
let's
sister,
go through it.
you should let it, because I think this is the thing. I think, you should let them just let it play out, because it's one thing getting told, the sisters get told that you should be saying that you don't feel safe, but we're in a dedicated place to talk about Black women, and you know what I mean, conversation went off quickly. So if we can bring it back, and there's a brother on the Black Betterment panel who is a regular on this panel and is asking on this topic that what you're going to do, run around with feelings. Just, sis, just rest in your femininity.
This is why we feel unprotected, though, sis.
Exactly.
Literally that mindset, because they're just thinking, well, what can we do to help their feelings? Forget them. Move now back to codes. This is the reason why we feel the way we do.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen.
Synchronized.
Let's let the men handle the statement first, and if you feel that we're sliding off, then go, brothers. So we'll say, can we go back to this? So the thing is, brother IC3 is, this is something that we've brought up, and there is a value in optically women feeling valued by the men group, right? This is what we push forward. If a picture can be painted of one way, then it can be painted another way. And I guess what we're saying is, it is better for the morale and motivation of a collective for the picture to be painted the other way. And that is for Black women to feel protected and valued by Black men using strategies of the Black men.
Okay.
Strategies was used to make Black women feel that way, right? And we can actually track cultural norms and marketing assets that have that go on regularly that contribute to this overall feeling. Now, of course, you're going to find Black women who don't feel that way.
Yes.
But in the digital space and today's digital age, it seems there is a multitude of Black women who are saying the same thing. And
yes.
I'm pushing for, when I try to study it, by Black men not being aware, Black men not valuing marketing and not valuing ownership and building certain institutions that are dedicated to do just those things.
Yes.
This feeling is a true feeling, as in it represents collective inadequacies from black men who don't value these things. Because if we don't value building institutions and we don't talk about it, then they won't be done. They won't be
good.
done.
That's correct.
So I would say let us use this time to say what can we do, because for example,
to fix.
If Brother Kel has I always use tangible examples. If Brother Kel has the #1 black magazine, it's called Black Love, say, and he releases it every month, and every month there's a picture of a happy black man and black woman, and there's articles about their life, and the people you say actually do love black men and get their good deeds, their stories are in there. Then this will be painting the picture of black people doing well, because there is actual optical, tangible products that reflect this ideology that in the front of the mind will then train black people to behave that way. Before you jumped on, Brother Dave was talking about music and saying that unfortunately we're at the time now where what's popular music might be to degrade black people in general, and that is including black women. So this is obviously a contributing factor where people who want to do something, i.e. music, have now been programmed to join this kind of narrative of naturally mistreating black people. For example, a few weeks ago, we tried to control profanity, and what was said was, just so you know, brother, we come from certain environments where we swear at each other and we use these names all the time. So what we're seeing is these historical derogative terms are now used every single day casually, to the point where some people feel that it's almost impossible for them to speak in any setting without using profanity and derogative terms. So this can be reversed, because there was a time where this wasn't so, at least optically, right?
Yes.
So I'm saying we can control the optics, so then in the back of the mind, we make people automatically do things that's more constructive towards our women, at least 100%. In theory. So as men, should we entertain a strategy to try to do this? And I ask it to the men on the panel.
Yes, we should. And that is by being synchronized.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the ways that we could actually, with the space, is create digital content, meaning shorts, that shows an example of what's unsynchronized, the argument is shouting, and in the same minute we can show an example, let's say me and Lady D having a civil conversation, me kind of speaking at a time in a tone which is respectful and she's accept, or she's speaking to me in a tone which is, you know what, I hear you, me listening, talking and me listening. We need to start creating these examples so we can play them and see them, just to challenge the nonsense that's out there. So I think that's one of the things, create digital content that's positive, so we can, pull it out there to battle with all the negative images that's out there that people talk upon. Yeah.
Well done, Brother Daniel. That was excellent there. And this is something that we will be doing and should be doing more of, and that is actually showing in tangible ways, in marketable ways, the right way, or the synchronized way, or the unsynchronized way, in order to achieve collective black betterment. And that's a very good idea. And that's hopefully what we can, because one thing I want to be aware of, it's okay to highlight challenges, but we want to be a community that highlight challenges and then push forward solutions. If we're always talking about what we can't do, but then that means we're giving anti-black racists either a bronze medal or a silver medal, because that's what they want. They want us to go slow or stop, you see? So I'm saying this is good, and this is something that we can do. And obviously, if the ladies approve, if the ladies approve and they're best pleased, then they can let us know. But there is a value in black men, building with black men, and actually optically in training our people to see constructive black men coming together, and not talking about the follies or shortcomings of black women, but actually where we as men are going wrong and how we can build and change. And what I've observed from other groups as well as in general, whenever black men men in general come together and they're productive and they have direction, before you know it, the women approve and they go along because there's direction, because there's purpose, you see? So it's about providing purpose. And I think as black men, let's provide purpose.
I agree.
I totally agree.
Excellent.
I agree.
So Brother Daniel gave a very good thing there of actually trying to create content of synchronized and unsynchronized, right? And one thing we're saying is one thing that might be good to highlight is some of the sisters around the world, or some of the brothers around the world, they want to understand why on this particular show we don't have profanity. So let me try to break it down in a chess way so we can break it down. what's going to happen when we're talking about ideas? People are going to be passionate. People are going to be slow. People are going to be fast. People are going to be, they're going to be energetic or just deflated, whoever, right? But if we're using profanity in everything we say, it might be hard to discern whether the person is angry or sad. So someone might just naturally be energetic and they swear, but they might disagree with an idea of how to find solutions, but they're using profanity to express it. So that could be interpreted by someone else as a conflict. And then before you know it, we've escalated high anxiety of a back and forth on a constructive show. And we want to minimize that. And one way we can minimize that is in this show at this time, we don't use profanity just because it might be misinterpreted, right?
Yes.
This is a starting point. There might be people who don't understand that, but I challenge, if you cannot control yourself to not use certain kind of words, then this might be highlighting how far we've come, because historically your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents would have been able to do this and they would have got value from it. So why can't we do it now? And hopefully this will then contribute to the content being made in books, films, songs, party talks, how we conduct ourselves, like just automatically on code that when we're together, it's a high principled affair rather than an error prone affair. You see, a good word.
Yes.
We're going away from
Synchronized.
error prone, to being high principled, and so we can all be synchronized because we value black Betterment. And more importantly, having black men in a conversation, let the people know that, by the way, my name's Jim, Bob, Jill, and I value black women. I value black women, right? And yes, you're gonna get the unethical codes of conduct from other groups and gonna call you names, and that's why you straight away go to the black dynamic, because what's happening, unfortunately, many black men, they're using the power of non-black men to come after you, right? And as a false coalition of men versus women, this new age, right? And you go, no. We understand that anytime black men or black people or black whatever unite with any kind of category, genre, you shake up for a few seconds, for a few days, and when you look again, that black group is at the bottom of that new paradigm or that new genre or that new idea. Yeah. So
that's
we
right.
understand, and so we can say you might be joining other men to mistreat women, but if you shake up, those men are still collectively more adequate than you. They've got institutions and ideas that work in their own community's best interest. However, we're falling behind, and we're using their institutions as a we. So aren't we doing good? But they're making all the money from those institutions. They're getting all the optics from those institutions. So it's a false we. And once again, you bring it down to black men competing with non-black men, not black men competing with black women. Can't happen.
Excellent. And I think the concept of synchronization goes along with professionalism. Professional, synchronized. When you go to see the doctors or whatever, you expect the hospital to be synchronized, because if you're not synchronized, people start dying. So I associate synchronization with professionalism, and the concept of feelings when it comes to professionalism is not there. You don't hear about doctors. How does a doctor feel? The doctor's got to do his job as a professional and be synchronized with the other hospital staff to get the job done correctly, to make sure the medicine is prescribed correctly. The patient, the sick one, has all these feelings, and then the professional will then listen to the feelings of the sick and then treat it in a synchronized manner.
Yes. I think one thing that can help that is awareness. And the reason why I say awareness is you're going to have black women complaining about how they feel. However, the awareness in black men not building, as in if two black men walk in a room and they talk about football, hot dogs, EastEnders, but in the back of their mind, in front of their mind, isn't the concept or idea of building institutions or ideas that are dedicated to black betterment, black forwardness, black upliftment, or anything like this, then the awareness is lacking. So awareness of this need, you see, and that should be created by us, like the awareness. Like, are you aware black people, we don't have too many industries dedicated to our firmament. Are you aware of this? Are you aware that constructive black man and constructive black woman makes a constructive black family? Are you aware there's a value in being constructive and finding a constructive black woman? You know, are you aware? Are you aware that if you, in order to create a black family, if you have to find a black woman? Like, are you aware of this? Let them say, I'm not aware of that, because that was
Okay,
never
and what would be
brought
your
up to us.
definition of black when speaking to somebody who might not be aware, like a scenario or in a waiting room or a bus stop? Can you assume that the stranger that you're speaking, I'm always doing this stuff, to is aware of the terminology that you're using and would understand black identity in the same way you would, in the same way you're thinking?
Well, that's why we have campaigns, you see, and just
Okay.
like this campaign of Black Lives Matter, it was tried, tested, and pushed out there. There was awareness of what that meant and who that was for. It's the same with any idea campaign we're doing. The people identified or identify as black in whatever area they are, coming together to work on progressional ideas for black people, the awareness of this. And right now, black women are a concern. You know, we're trying to create an environment for black women to thrive in and feel protected and valued in. And that can be quantified with actual tangible stuff. But people have to want it. It's just in the comments it says, we are aware, but we don't care. Little rap there, very nice. And I think there's more truth to that. And also being aware of those who don't care is important, right? And I say that's why when you see me on panels, it's okay, brothers. We understand that these men here, these black men, don't care about black families, don't care about black economics, don't care about black institutions. However, I do. And is there any other brothers or sisters in this panel who do? Feel free for us to talk after the show. Delineating, as in seeing that. And like I said, remember these sayings, right? And a very important saying. You know, there's black people I will work with, and black people I'll work on behalf of. You see?
Right.
Because what will happen is they'll try to use the mind game of like, oh, you're divisive, you're trying to change people against us, even though what they're saying is actually divisive, right? You will say, no. The idea is all black people prosper, but in that process, I can only work with black bearers. I can only work with black people who confess or want to practice black love or practice black economics or practice black whatever.
So would you agree then?
Can I say something?
Oh, go on.
Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, I just, in the spirit of being honest, I hope everyone receives this in love. I'm just going to go to a comment on here from True Poetic. And sis was one of the sisters who jumped on yesterday.
Yes.
So, last time. So she's like, what is this feelings obsession? I was looking forward to this stream. And that, again, I think she's just echoing what a lot of the sisters are thinking. I know I've noticed that Sister Lady Divine has been on mute the whole time. And again, I just think, I'll be with all love and honesty, Brother IC3 was on last week. To dedicate so much time to re-explain is another form of deflection. And I've said this last stream, to minimize it to just a feeling when we know it's a fact, and then to have to justify the feeling allows for more time to re-explain what we already know is a fact. I think even starting it off or mentioning feelings has been demonstrated like painfully clear the last two streams is probably not the right way to go about it, because it's an easy endpoint to now deter from giving straight full facts. Like there's four, before I got interrupted, what I was trying to say, and then when I got interrupted again, what I was trying to say is that there's four brothers sitting on this stream, and Daniel, if I'm remembering correctly, was one of the brothers who was on the panel, on the comments last time, and it seemed like he was listening. Now he's jumped on because he was one of the brothers that's like, all right, I'm going to be on to make some direct comments. And I just don't feel we've utilised having four brothers. We've talked about this staying on, being synchronized, but we already know that here because we go through that continuously here. We've talked about the hospital, we're talking about the feelings. But if we really sat down and utilised this space with the brothers on here and really talk about direct points in regards to protecting black women, And this is what I'm saying. And as Black women, because you can't necessarily talk or speak up, or you might get interrupted, you just sit back and you just kind of wait and hope it comes back around. And I think in this day and time, with the likes of like the Cynthia G's and stuff like that, it's clear that women are kind of tired. So it's so important that if we're getting told women rest in your femininity, women call out when you need to be protected, then that happens. Not that we have to sit and endure how long for you to get there. Because, and this is the same thing, that if you want us to hold our position, you must hold yours in every sense.
Correct.
Yeah, well, thanks for that, bro.
And
Sister,
we are.
that's correct. And one thing, hopefully,
I see, Free. I'll just let you know, my brother, I don't think that has happened. So if you never got that from what I've just said, I'll say it very clear. I don't think that has happened.
Okay, they're sick and tired. So feelings could be a sickness, and the synchronized people are the doctors, and they have to deal with this. Those that are having these feeling fits all over the place, and so the synchronized ones, those that are going by the code, are synchronized, they can be professional and consistent and deal with the
hold on, let me jump in.
Yeah.
I think what's been articulated, brother, is the feelings represents the fact. And the fact is that Black men are not in mass protecting Black women. And that's why the feelings are a true feeling, as in,
right.
I mean,
right.
It's a kind way of saying you men are not protecting us. It's a kind way of saying
yes,
right?
and that
you
men, Black women en masse are sick. Correct?
Well,
have sick feelings.
En masse. Well, let me explain, and then let's see if you can disagree. It's more so that Black men are failing to protect Black women, and that could be a contribution to why of your sickness analogy, because of our failures to value these things. There is a knock-on effect. You see, now had we valued and practiced these things, that sickness would not exist. So I put the emphasis on men now, because the goal is for men to awake men and teach men. It's very easy for us to look at the shortcomings of women, or alleged shortcomings. However, we have to say, no, this feeling comes from a fact. And the fact is, as men, we haven't done our correct jobs.
Right. So the feeling is correct. It's a sickness. So it's a fact that they're sick, and that's why they're feeling sick.
Well, I'm not too sure. Once again, this
it's a fact. That's what you just said. It's a fact.
Right.
They're feeling the fact. They're feeling the fact that they're sick in the head.
Well, let's break it down. There might be some historical thing going on, which I'm not unaware of.
Wow.
But what I would say this from
it's just synchronized, man. Yeah.
I'm watching the language. Yes.
Of course. But here's what it is, brother. And we're going to use this as a case study anyway. But what it is the goal is to talk about what we can do as men. And we're highlighting that by constantly mentioning women, we're not focusing on what we men need to do. So
yes,
does that make sense, right?
Yes.
So we can say feelings as much as you want, but the feelings are connected to an actual fact, and the fact is, as a collective body of men, we don't value building and we don't value structure and ownership at the rate of other non-Black people, right?
Correct.
And because of that, we are collectively inadequate. And I'm talking about the men. So, so the conquering Black person, or the conquering African, or the conquering Sun person is aware of the shortcoming and wants to build with other conquerors to conquer this issue. But what we can't 100%. Do is focus on outside people group, i.e. Black women, because it's a Black man responsible role.
Okay.
It's not. It's not a Black woman's role to build. It's a Black man's role. And when we build, then they will be protected at a higher rate.
Okay, excellent.
When we build,
I agree.
Will be protected because
so Raven, that whenever one of us becomes unsynchronized when it comes to the understanding of the son sister, then all the men should say, brother, you're moving unsynchronized right now, because the way how the females express themselves is their logic and their truth. Because Sister Kushtu is right. We kind of messed up a little bit because we were on the panel and we didn't kind of stop immediately.
Addressing, yeah.
We're not always going to be like, I was literally kind of, you know, I would say, unsynchronized, man, because it's like it got away from the Sun Sisters. So we have to kind of say, well, brother, this is unsynchronized as much as we can to kind of stop it coming and we come in. And it's no disrespect to the elder, but in the code of conduct, it does mention that we have to learn how to understand our women. So definitely we have to stop anything that goes against the Sun Sisters' logical minds for their so yeah, man. Yeah.
That's point 3 actually, what you just mentioned. Point 3 of the synchronized codification. It says learn female psychology to understand women's logic is not the same as men's logic. Yeah. So that's you're speaking on code.
Yeah, so and can I add to that as well, brother IC3, can you give me or us an example of an idea of how you can help build the confidence of our women to feel more protected in our community from your perspective?
Oh, I think it's already said. I agree with the plan already. You know, for men to black males to make black females, black women feel protected, they have to act in a synchronized manner. And I think good efforts have been made here by the synchronized code, the code of conduct. So by practicing the code of conduct, I think it's a good effort towards making black females feel safe.
Oh, okay.
All right, can I say something here? Because I did hear one, and so far I've heard one. I don't know if you caught it, sis Kushti, yeah, but I did hear one good suggestion. I think that's something that maybe you guys, the black men, come on, Kings, you must be able to implement this. And Brother Raven gave a strategy of the footballing, right? And how us sisters sometimes need to fall all the way back because we're quite energetic. You know, we would go toe to toe with anybody. We don't care. Yeah. But maybe we might need to fall back. That's it. There we go. Yeah. We make the brothers that are, you know, well, good at speaking and putting the point across, take the front seat. So they're the lead, innit? They're taking the conversations. They're taking on the thing. And then whenever he gives that, I don't know, a certain signal or a certain, you know, that could be part of the code. That's when our sisters know, yep, that's when we get together now and just, you know, back him up. And well, that'll be a way of doing it, handling these panels wise anyway. That might be a good strategy. What do you guys think?
I agree, sister. And what I would say as well, to add to that, is I said it before, but let me unpack it more. We're going to take a whole lot of energy for trying to be constructive towards black relationships and black women and black betterment, right? So I would say that when we're in these panels, maybe an acknowledgement that something good is happening amongst us should be done. So, for example, I might be there. Go. Let's like to thank Brother Kel for his dedication towards black betterment. And I know it's never about the individual; it's about the collective. But if we do this amongst ourselves, as in we recognize we're on a panel of 10 people, and 4 of them are synchronized and 6 are unsynchronized, the synchronized thank the synchronized for their dedication to black people, black betterment. So that way it's like we have an understanding. And the strategy of that is you're creating an inside group of constructive works, and you're making that idea appealing because those are coming together. Now, the opposite of that is someone who's trying to destroy black people and they thank each other. And if they do that, that's valuable because now we can see who's definitely unsynchronized in a clear way. Yeah, because there is no opposite of people going, thank you for trying to destroy black love and black family. But we can say we understand that black love and black family is important. So I'd like to thank Brother Kel and Sister Kushti for promoting this. And it was good to be on the panel where such important constructive things were discussed and consistency. So this is another strategy of how to assist the black sisters in when they do say constructive things, to let them know their support and vice versa, that there's a support system on that panel that counters the complete overarching negative energies that seems to follow constructive black people. What do you think about that? Is that a strategy that we could test as a hypothesis?
Yeah, I think it sounds
would
like, well,
definitely be up
Brother
for
Kel's
it.
a centre forward striker.
Come
And
on, Brother Kel.
when
Come on.
Brother Kel says he's about to do the strike, and he says fullback, make sure all the black
Well,
sisters get back.
while the football team, it's black betterment. You know, the striker is not effective without the rest of them. So I
Of
operate as
course.
a collective, and
Yeah.
as I said, it's the black betterment that has helped out with loads of these codes and kind of. So we have to give the black betterment organization its props, and big up to the community, man, the Sun people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay. You're Ronaldo, Kale Rolando.
Definitely us creating a space for black people to speak and as constructive, and hopefully we can influence others to do the same. And once again, before Brother Daniel jumps in, if anyone here who wants to promote constructive ideas for black people, we can support, and then we can create networks here. So we support each other's channel, we promote each other's channel. So that way, there might be a show dedicated to sister support, and one dedicated to economic support, and one dedicated to, you know, I don't know, right? But this is a constructive black betterment network that we push there. But Brother Daniel wanted to speak. I think he's gone now. Sorry, Brother Daniel. When you come back, we'll push you back in. I think his finger left. Is that me? No, he's him. Yeah. Is that helpful, sisters, at all? Oh, is the internet cut?
Feel better? Do the sisters feel better now?
Again, I don't think we're there yet on the feelings thing, so I just wouldn't. So until like we can demonstrate that we're there, and then we can be on a level to have a banter about. I just think we should demonstrate just going forward. But I would just say that I just want to appreciate Daniel. I'm not sure if he's here or not, but what he did there with the direct questioning and just bring it back on a level, and Brother Cal as well, and acknowledging it straight off, and then and correcting it, because I think that allows for grace when you're frustrated, because it just allows for grace when you're frustrated. So yeah, and I just think that going forward, I just think my contribution, I mean, yes, I agree to allowing the brothers to go and when not to go. When I'm on panels with especially Raven and Cal, we practice that by osmosis anyways. You know, we just do that. As I said, there's a lot of times where I feel that us ladies need to understand that when our brothers who are genuinely on code are talking to other sisters, some of them might go below belt, and because a brother has to continuously align in a certain way and conduct himself in a certain way, I will then insert myself, because I understand what is happening here. I understand the synergy of that's getting exchanged there. But equally, if I'm talking to a brother and he then starts to get aggressive, I would like a brother to step in, because he understands the equal levels of exchange there, the different synergies there, and the level of disrespect that's going on there. So I think that by osmosis, most women, black women, already practice that. I think
that's a fact.
Yeah, so I wouldn't. It is a point, but to me, it's an obvious point, and it is already demonstrated. But what would probably help out visually is if the brothers start practicing that a bit more. I think everybody can get better than that, even if we think we're there. And I think we just need to get better at that, because the intricacies is what black women notice before anything. Remember, we're not like in America where it's overt, it's covert. So it's the little things, it's the little jabs, it's the little, and it only gets recognized when the reply comes. So when the black woman's fed up and then she's blaring, oh, now it's like, can we get all synchronized? Oh no, this is the. But we allowed so many jabs to that point to happen. So what I'm saying is, some women will say, okay, you must have seen that. And now we're getting to the point where I'm recognizing we need to give grace that perhaps they hadn't. So now's the time where I'm talking to the brothers, especially the ones who are on code, that I know that are on code, to look for the intricacies and dead it there, because once we get to the point where it's like, it's like 1,000 cuts to the death. So once that 1,000 cut happens and the woman does what she's supposed to do, and now she's just let off and been emotional, don't try to now preach to her now, kind of thing. I think that's what we need to start. That's what we need to start recognizing. So insert yourself. It's better for a brother to insert themselves than not to, because maybe a brother's like, maybe it's too soon. Insert yourself, just insert it, than to leave it. Because even if you do it, even if it comes out too early, what you've done is you've made sure that you've navigated the conversation to stay on track. You've stopped yourself from it even getting too far, where now you're really going to have to step up and do some damage. So just cut it off, stop it before it starts.
100%.
So that strategy of error prone and high pitch, Brother Raven, has to be sold a lot then, to kind of to set the parameter when anything's gonna happen. Okay, this is error prone. What are you talking about? And then we can explain it. And then when things synchronize back, this is high pitch. Because these little strategies what you've got in the Black Betterment organization will help psychologically as well. So we can identify, oh, this is error prone. It snaps us back in. This is on. So yeah.
Professional.
So what we're saying is whenever we recognize, go, brother, we are moving towards error proneness. We want to move to a more high principled, and we have a chart for those to see. So we want to try to always get the conversations, around here. Hopefully 5, but we always want to be around here for ideas. But when it starts slipping towards here, as it sometimes does, maybe we can divide a chart that as we're talking. Brother, we're going towards error proneness, brother. We want to be more high principled. You see, and sometimes we can miss it, and some people interpret things different. So we want to definitely work as a team. That's the important word there, as a team. And no one is faster. What's the saying? No one is faster than your slowest runner. That's the saying.
You're only fast as your slowest runner, and that
there
is
you go.
Yeah, definitely. Or you're only as strong as your weakest member of the team.
Exactly.
Fantastic. They all sounding very synchronized, very professional. Black Betterment professionals.
So I see free. When you come on these Black Betterment panels, what are you going to do to ensure that you're contributing and staying on the topic?
The same thing as you.
Okay.
What do you do? What do you do to stay on code?
Well, brother, she asked a question.
It's an error prone now. Error prone.
I'm a bit more error
prone. Clean, brother. Yeah, put down your stick. First of all,
it might be right about here, brother. We want to more
park him up. Yeah.
The sister asks, is there any strategies that you might have to keep you away from being error prone, like anything when we're discussing things?
I'll try to not raise my voice and to speak clearly, slowly, if necessary, and precisely, and try to keep in mind that to see Black Betterment as a professional, keeping the state of mind where Black Betterment is a professional thing and should be treated in that way, and that those who are overexpressive in terms of feelings, we should see them as patients.
No.
You disagree?
This is more error prone, you see, brother.
Okay, explain to me. Expound.
Well, the thing is, brother, it's like we don't want to create this dynamic between man and woman and stuff. It's we're doing a task and we want to keep on that task. And
correct.
The thing is, remember, if outside of our day-to-day interactions here, I don't know the story of all our backstories, and because we haven't expressed it, no, but there seems to be, and maybe a one-on-one conversation is need to have around this concept of feelings and stuff, right? And obviously, but I'm saying that in the context of here, it isn't getting it's not getting the right response that maybe you intend. If anything, it's constantly bringing the panel into a error-prone area. So I say that as men, the feelings conversation about and being a patient, right? As in people with feelings. And I'm saying that from me to you, it's not feelings, it's the truth. We are not delivering as men collectively.
Yes, I agree with that.
Right.
Because if you're feeling pain, right, it is probably because you're injured. So the feelings is the actual injury that's making you feel the pain. So yes, it is feelings, but it is a real thing, and that also applies psychologically.
So we can
I
use
agree
it
with you.
in order to help this conversation just between ourselves. We can say black women are not protected. What are black men gonna do about it? That might make the conversation sound optically more better when it comes to communicating. So that way, because there's this kind of like concept of feeling that maybe something isn't right or is right, but it's a feeling. I'm going to say for this conversation, black women are not protected. What are black men going to do about it? And that's where
black men are going to become synchronized. That is the answer to the question.
Right. And after that, then what we're going to do is we're going to actually break that down into activities that black men can practice to protect black women and build black communities. And that's 100%. Where and brother Daniel was giving some great ideas, and brother Kel as well. And that's something that we can do. And we also invite the listeners. I know it can be a very hard thing to do, but you're welcome to jump on or in the panel, give your ideas. But we want this show to be a solution-based show. And we're going to put out there as a statement that black women are not protected. So what are black men going to do about it? And this show is a show where we're going to get synchronized, be high principled, and work towards that goal.
100%.
Black Betterment.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Black
agreed.
Betterment.
Blessings.
Black Betterment.
Can I just thank the sisters, Ladies Vine, Empress Kush, for speaking, because that's what I really wanted. I wanted to hear what you would like from me as a brother, and you said it, so I'm clear of what I can actually do. And secondly, I was naturally a defender. I like to stay at the back and watch from the front, so I'll be defending any nonsense that the other team players like. When people are hugging the ball and holding it, I'm saying, yo, Bridget, pass the ball, man. That's what this is what I do. That's my thing. Yeah. So blessings. Bless up IC3 as well. Love family. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay. Article done. Big up, man.
Yeah, bless.
Maybe what we can do at some point is actually devise titles that we can interpret as positions for debaters or public speakers to have, and those particular roles. So just like in football, the striker is the person who scores the goal. The midfield is who takes the ball from the defense and gives it to the striker. The defense are the guys who stop the others from trying to get into the goal area. And the goalkeeper is the last line of defense before it becomes a goal. And there's very particular things they do as their positions. Maybe what we can do as a debate community or a communication community when it comes to teaching and debating and pushing ideas is have actual position words, and then we can actually learn it on this thing and we can practice it and see how it is. And that way, one of the goals, this is how we're going to protect black women, is by having a very particular position for black women to go in, where they are defended, but they still have a voice and have the comfortability to actually go out and do what they need to do. And we can put it in the position form. Now, not all black women will want to do this. We understand there are going to be some black women who might want to be that upfront kind of take all the all the direct attack straight away. We understand, but we're saying we'll do things in the form of positions, and the women can pick the positions they feel more comfortable with, regardless of where it is on the pitch. Does that sound like an idea?
Yeah, it definitely does. But at the same time, Brother Raven, we still want to keep the psychological mindset that we want them to remain in their feminine energy as well, because remember the dopamines that we have is, the black woman's going to save us. You understand what I'm saying? And that, so it's like we want them to be, the sunshine cheerleaders of political science, but we don't want them in the battlefield too much, because they must, remain feminine. You understand, brother? So it allows us to do things that we're supposed to be doing, instead of like saying, black women, you're going to help me, because we don't want that, to be honest, brother. You know what I mean? We want them to remain, you know what I mean? to remain what?
Very true. Very excellent. And that's why when it comes to strategies, potentially one is when black women are there by the end of the debate or the middle of the debate, acknowledging the hard work and just showing the unsynchronized black man and the synchronized black man how appreciation works in the community. Like, we appreciate you synchronized brothers for doing what you're supposed to do for black women. And hopefully that can be a strategy of letting the unsynchronized brothers know that, you know, there is goodness for you, but you need to be like the brothers who are synchronized, not unsynchronized, sabotaging our progress. If that makes sense at all. That's very fair. You know, it's almost like, imagine a film where the man runs across the field or bomb, whatever, and then there's a woman there who blows him a kiss when he gets there. That kind of, you know, like it was worth it. It's going somewhere. There's appreciation.
Yeah. Well, sorry, just quickly, maybe it could be the women are the managers and the coaches. They train us up. We go out, they watch us play. And then when we come back at halftime of the full match, they can analyze and say, yeah, your position was all right. Daddy, you need to fix up, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? So they're still involved. You know what I mean?
But for me, this is it's kind of a serious thing, because what my hope is for whatever we can achieve or see being displayed online, hopefully that transcends over into real time. So when we're in real life and they're seeing, I don't know, example, a black woman in a shop and she's been mistreated by the shopkeeper, do you know what I mean? Black men will automatically want to step in and say, yo, you can't talk to her like that, or you can't just dash the money in her hand, like, you know what I mean? Just little simple things like that means a lot, because then the energy will keep transferring and it will keep growing. That's my thing. But if we can't even do this online when we've seen it literally happen in display for everyone to see, I'm like, I don't even want to know what's happening in the real world. I really don't.
Yeah.
And
in the real world,
I want to
as
follow
long as the
on
women are saying on code as well, because you don't want to be defending trying to defend off code behavior, because you can end yourself up in real trouble, more trouble.
Okay,
and it
so I
escalates the
understand
situation.
that. Okay.
So to that, I was gonna say to that, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. But to what you was gonna say there, I see through. I think that when the brothers are communicating, they need to remember that they're communicating their ethics. So it doesn't matter who's in front of you. Your value shouldn't go down or up, deciding on who you're talking to. So if you're a brother on code, you're a brother on code regardless. So if you are talking to if Brother Cal is talking to me, he already knows that, and he doesn't know me. By the time he talks to me, he probably knows that we're on code, right? But if he's talking to like what IC3 says, and this brother is trying to do the right thing, and this woman that is off code, which we know there's plenty of women who are doing the wrong thing right now. It's up to that brother to decide, does he go down to her level because she demonstrated it? Or does he do what a man does and Karen does doing what he does because that's his ethics to him? So if she starts going off key, swears at him, doesn't appreciate it, that brother just moves on. He doesn't interact with it. He doesn't engage with it if he doesn't have to, right? And that's what I'm saying. I think people use that as a crutch. Well, there's whatless women out there. There's unsynchronized women out there. Yeah, we know that. But as a brother, it's up to you to know how to move. Now, that doesn't, you don't have to, when you're interacting with that, as long as you stick to your code, you'll always be fine. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to employ that to the brothers, because you might go on, and what separates you from that kind of incel or manosphere mentality is that brother who experienced that from that woman moves on and says, I recognize that that's in that woman, and doesn't now hold the next woman and the next woman and the next black woman accountable for that one interaction that he had, right? And that's what happens. So as long as you stay within your code, you move on and you carry on moving how you want to move. That's not your problem. So I totally agree. That doesn't interact with how you now interact with the next woman. And that's my best advice for you, because I want to say that when these brothers and like Daniel, you know, and Cal and Brother Raven, they're interacting, I do want to say, that's what I remember what I was going to say now. I did want to say that you do need to have a broad shoulders, because it's not easy. You get attacked by other brothers. You might interact with women who just does not get it because they're not used to it, right? And you'll have a sister like me that be like, that's not, you never did that right. You know what I mean? And it's something, testament to Brother Cal and Brother Raven, who listens to me when I give my points, and they take it in, and then they demonstrate it in action, and they don't have a chip on their shoulder. They're not emotional about it. That is very much appreciated. That energy I want to acknowledge as a female as well, because again, I want to point that out, that is very important. That is very recognized. And again, that's a subtle thing that is very loud, you know. So I just want to say that. So the way that you take on criticism, you analyze. It's not to say that anything I say is gospel. You analyze the criticism, and if you feel that is correct, we then see it demonstrated, just like what happened demonstrated today on panel. So I just want to say that I appreciate that, and I just want to let you know that as women, that's again is another thing that screams louder than words. And to Daniel, that's another point that I would add on there.
Fantastic.
Give thanks, sis. Give thanks.
Right, professional players.
But not just that. What the sister demonstrated there is a potential way of communicating in a hostile environments where we recognize that good deeds are done amongst the collective, and we acknowledge it in real time to highlight what synchronizes and what unsynchronizes in a pleasant, appreciative way.
100%.
And that,
very good.
This is a very good strategy, and Empress Christie demonstrated really well there. And I think it'll be a very good one to actually bring into the real world.
Going forward.
Yeah, I mean,
we had to test it out.
Yeah, that was well done. As again, Empress Christie, cutting edge of
very
ideas.
good.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Bless.
Family, these shows are meant to be 2 hours, but because we really get in it, it's gone more. So we're gonna have to call it end now. But would anyone have their last words? And does anyone also want to promote their shows of any constructive nature that we can jump on and add to? But any last words now, family?
I just want to say thanks to the brothers for actually finally getting there, especially putting in at least something we can put into practice to see how we're working with. We appreciate it, man. We've got your backs too. Trust me, we've got you.
I want to say again, well done to the brothers again. I love to see it demonstrated in the works and actually happening in real time. And just love. I think the sister in the chat at True Poet said that she had some information lined up. So hopefully we can maybe, now that the brothers have taken a point, maybe third time lucky, and we can, break it down with the information that the sisters got. Maybe us sisters recognizing that the brothers do want practical information, right? Brothers don't want airy fairy stuff. So if we had maybe bullet points or some straight points to give them or something like that, and let them liaise on that, and then like I said last time, like perhaps their juices will start bubbling, they could come out with something, and Sister True Poet could perhaps come with the info that she had prepared, because it was the sister that asked that she wanted more for this to go into more details with the brothers. So maybe that's a suggestion for next week, and maybe making sure that there is no interruptions and just nipping it at the bud like what you've seen here. And So that's my little suggestion. But big up to the brothers on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say perhaps Brother Raven, next week, if we could do another the protecting of the black woman, and having ways of communicating with one another, so we can apply the blueprints of how to talk to one another as black men and as black women. So yeah, next week should be another episode of the protecting black women.
Definitely.
Yes, excellent show today. So professional synchronized black betterment.
There you go. And brother Daniel, last words from you, brother, before we go.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this show. I've enjoyed the space. I really feel comfortable. And thanks to the sisters as well for being on there and giving me the encouragement to speak up and support us as a collective. So yeah, I'll be here back next week and give thanks again. Yeah, bless.
To everyone out there, Black Bearman. Have a good day, Black Bearman.
Black Bearman.